Chapter 121. Luo Feng's Big Slap. Emperor Chuyu, ridden with anxiety, arrived above the Marquise's residence at once and stared toward Thousand Star Tower, following the intelligence reports. His gaze pierced space, and from afar, he saw a silver light cage sealing the tower. A silver light cage around Thousand Star Tower? That silver light. He went cold. He remembered Huyang City, the vast silver river Luo Feng had unleashed, blade light tearing the sky. This silver light? Could it be Luo Feng's method? Lord Chuyuan and the other 5 are dealing with Luo Feng, but instead of fleeing, he sealed the battlefield with this silver light cage? Chuyu felt alarmed. With the cage sealed, outsiders couldn't get a clear view. Chuji Marquise and the others, having suffered a major loss, wouldn't be spilling details now. Word had already spread through Chu capital that Lord Chuyuan, Chuji Marquise, and 3 guest officials are confronting guest official Luo Feng, but nobody knew how the fight had gone. That madman, Lord Chuyuan, actually made a move. Emperor Chuyu only had Luo Feng as a guest official to contend with. If Luo Feng's true body were destroyed and he lost his weapon and secret treasures, his strength would drop several points. The other first-rank marquises watched patiently for the outcome. By common sense, a single guest official fighting 5 first-rank marquises would probably be at a disadvantage. In the Chu capital, inside Celestial Great Saint Tianyu's cave, a brick on the floor shifted and reshaped into his green-robed form. Chaos divine power from his small universe poured back into him and gradually restored his body. He looked grim. My true body was destroyed. As a primal Chaos Realm peak powerhouse, Tianyu kept his most prized weapons and treasures close to unleash his full might. Only some resources had been temporarily stored in his cave. Fortunately, when I became a guest official, I converted my merits into inheritances and resources to use for myself, he thought. Most high-level cultivators invest their gains into cultivation, secure more powerful inheritances, reach higher realms, and retain their secret arts even if their true body dies and revives. But Tianyu's 3 array diagrams, worth 30 billion cosmic sand, were gone. They were the thing he treasured most. With those arrays, my control over the grand formation of heaven and earth was twice what it is now. My formation, before Luo Feng, it was nothing. In truth, that array had still affected Luo Feng somewhat, which was why Luo Feng had targeted Tianyu first. This time I provoked a chaotic realm transcendent. This won't end easily. The weakened Tianyu rose above his cave and watched the silver light cage around Thousand Star Tower. Within Thousand Star Tower, the silver light cage cut off the area from outside space. Merchants, attendants, and guests were terrified. The tower had activated its own array formation to protect the buildings, but it couldn't draw on the Chu capital's power. Any primal Chaos Realm peak present could level the tower if they pressed the attack. How did a conflict between first-rank marquises break out in Thousand Star Tower? Please don't involve us. Everyone inside was frantic, terrified of being caught in the crossfire. A sudden voice boomed through the sealed space. We were foolish to offend guest official Luo Feng. Please, spare my true body. I'll offer 10 billion cosmic sand. The golden hoop old man's presence was invisible and untouchable, but his voice resonated. A limitless body. Interesting. Luo Feng said. The golden hoop old man had mastered the boundless origin great path. His golden hoops trapped enemies unpredictably, and his body was a limitless form with extraordinary escapability. Among his peers, he was even more terrifying than Lord Luyan. But he had met Luo Feng. Though Luo Feng's realm was somewhat lower, he smashed through methods with sheer power, relying on the terrifying strength of his physical body. Now the silver light cage penetrated all spatial layers, leaving only the world membrane. Escapes at the Chaos Realm level were rare. Karma escapes were one method Luo Feng couldn't intercept, but the limitless body couldn't take that path. Boom! Silver light flooded the entire tower, drawing everything into the cage. Luo Feng didn't want to involve innocent cultivators, but he was precise. The golden hoop old man's voice still tried to bargain. You already attacked me. Do you think 10 billion cosmic sand will save your true body? Luo Feng sneered. Suddenly, countless silver river blade lights erupted, 20,000 of them, each carrying the artistry of cleaving heaven. They assaulted every part of the silver light cage without pause. The blades were in yin-yang particle form, multiplying their power. With the sheer number of blades under his control, Luo Feng's might was unimaginable. No, the Golden Hoop Old Man, even in his limitless form, felt despair. The blades covered every inch. There was nowhere to hide. The whole interior of the cage was assaulted and annihilated. The Golden Hoop Old Man's divine power was stripped away. Only the most resilient weapons and secret treasures were left. Luo Feng stood in midair. Though the blade light enveloped him, not a hair was harmed, as if a gentle breeze brushed him. Another one dealt with. Luo Feng collected the Golden Hoop Old Man's remnants and turned to Lord Chuan. Lord Chuan, who had seemed fierce and frenzied before, was now unusually still. Much of his black hair had been annihilated by the blade light, exposing tough ebony skin. He stared at Luo Feng. "You are stronger than I thought." His voice was low. "I surrender." Luo Feng smiled. "Everyone says you, Lord Chuan, are fierce and reckless, yet in front of me, you know how to surrender." Lightning flashed in Lord Chuan's eyes, and anger seethed in his soul, but hardships had taught him to bow when weak. "How will you let me go?" "Name your conditions," he demanded. "You attacked my friends and family and expect to walk away?" Luo Feng said coldly. "You made your bed. Lie in it." He let his arms swell and reached for Chuan. "Then come on." With nowhere to run, Lord Chuan unleashed his rage. He flooded his body with lightning and swung a black staff with both hands. Bang! Luo Feng's enormous palm blocked the staff. Black liquid ran across the surface of Luo Feng's palm, enveloping the staff and rapidly spreading toward Chuan. Lord Chuan couldn't hold the staff and had to let it go, retreating. "My full power strike didn't even hurt him, and he snatched my staff?" The disparity hit him harder than ever. He tried to flee, sparked by lightning, moving at impossible speed. Luo Feng watched, shook his head slightly, and sent waves of black liquid surging out. The Black Abyss transformation method, less swift and sharp than the Silver River, but superior at binding, spread through the cage, covering every crevice. No matter how fast your technique, there was nowhere to go. In his frenzy, Lord Chuan was submerged, bound, and swallowed by the black liquid. Split. Luo Feng focused, and hundreds of millions of units of the Black Abyss transformation method exerted force at once. Lord Chuan's body was stretched and enlarged, but remained intact. "So tough," Luo Feng murmured in surprise. He unleashed the 4 transformation methods attached to his body, tens of billions of units erupting simultaneously. Luo Feng's palm, carrying terrifying destructive force, struck the bound Lord Chuan. Splat! Lord Chuan's body shattered into dozens of lightning-infused flesh chunks. Even so, those chunks were incredibly tough and brimming with life force. Luo Feng frowned. Though shattered, his divine power hasn't been significantly depleted? Primal Chaos Realm Peak cultivators who specialize in the physical body sacrifice other aspects for incredible durability. Even ordinary god kings would have to wear them down over time. Luo Feng flashed another attack. 1,000, then more than 1,000 full-power slaps, each concentrating the force of tens of billions of transformation units. The lightning-infused flesh chunks were smashed further and further until they liquefied into streams of lightning liquid. That liquid broke into tens of millions of droplets but still tried to recombine. "I've beaten him into a pulp, into liquid, yet the power he consumes is minimal. He's already recovering?" Luo Feng couldn't hide his astonishment. Lord Chuan also had a constant supply of small universe divine power to slowly recover from losses. No wonder people said he had the potential to reach chaotic realm transcendency. Luo Feng rubbed his temple in frustration. Lord Chuan was stubbornly unkillable. Fine, at least I'll take his weapon. Luo Feng had already collected weapons and treasures from 3 Primal Chaos Realm Peak cultivators. The most valuable was Lord Chuan's staff. A god-king level weapon, worthy of a first-rank marquise. Only 3 beings in the entire Chu capital could watch the battle inside the Silverlight cage. They observed Luo Feng's 1,000-plus slaps, watched Lord Chuan turn to liquid. This boy Chuyuan cultivates the Hunyuan bloodline inheritance, 8 thunder methods, and he's only 1 step from the Thunder Beast cub form. His body's toughness is incredible, yet he was literally beaten into liquid by this Luo Feng, a female voice gasped. A strong physical cultivation, comparable to 1 or 2 tenths of mine, a rough voice sighed. But his other aspects are crude. If he meets a god king, he'll suffer. Chu watched Luo Feng with keen interest. For the Chu lineage, another chaotic realm transcendent among them would be cause for joy. Chapter 122, A New Chaotic Realm Transcendent. The Emperor looked over the report on Luo Feng. Luo He's physical body shows traits of a chaos layer creature. After becoming a guest official, he endured the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation lifeform. Recently, Chu Yu even helped him obtain parts from a golden feather divine bird. Much of the intelligence gathered about Luo Feng after his arrival in Chu capital had been presented to the Emperor. He seldom pored over details, but curiosity got the better of him this time, and he learned a great deal. Neither Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom nor Thunder Ancient Country has ever recorded a body refinement method based on Chaos Layer creatures that yields strength at the Chaotic Realm Transcendent level. So he developed this body refinement method himself? The Emperor mused, intrigued. With a practiced eye, he understood that Chaotic Realm Transcendence across Origin Continent typically rose through special inheritances, Hunyuan power, primordial origin materials, or similar aids, before matching Chaotic Realm strength. Someone creating a unique secret art to reach that level by themselves indicated extraordinary potential. This young man Chu Yu brought back is an extremely talented cultivator, the Emperor thought. His regard for Luo Feng had climbed past the rank of first-rank marquise. Across countless ages, the royal 13 bloodlines had proliferated. Many princes were sent into small universes to survive on their own. The Emperor valued the infinite divine bodies of the royal 13 bloodlines and the first-rank marquises as a way to cultivate the clan's descendants. If Luo He can fashion his own chaotic realm transcendent secret art, he might one day become a fellow deputy palace master Xingje, the Emperor reflected. Even emperors faced obstacles. Even the venerable Yanfeng ancestor moved cautiously. Investigate his past more thoroughly. His traces on the Origin Continent are too sparse. If nothing untoward shows up, we should draw him fully into our circle. Meanwhile, Emperor Chu Yu hovered above the Marquis residence, staring toward Thousand Star Tower with impatience. Suddenly, the silver light cage sealing Thousand Star Tower vanished, and a black-robed figure stepped out, Luo Feng. In one hand, he held a squashed, steaming meatball of flesh, Lord Chuan, compressed into a ball. The sight warmed Emperor Chu Yu's heart. The others are gone? Only Luo He remains, he thought, then frowned at the lump in Luo He's hand. What is that he's holding? There was no time to speculate. Emperor Chu Yu dashed toward Thousand Star Tower. Where the tower had stood was now empty. This is only a light punishment. If you provoke me again, I'll make you pay more. Luo Feng tossed the meatball casually. It flew off, then reconstituted into a black-haired, ugly figure, Lord Chuan, who hung in midair looking dazed. Beaten into a pulp, even liquefied, he had known only pain and endless nightmare. Now he had his freedom back. Light punishment? Lord Chuan glared at Luo Feng, but dared not speak. He turned and fled. Luo Feng waved, releasing the buildings of Thousand Star Tower and the cultivators within. The survivors rushed out, faces brightening at the black-robed figure. They bowed and shouted in unison, "Thank you, great sage!" They were grateful. Chaos Realm great sages were feared and rarely noticed the lives of the lowly. Punishments for collateral harm in Chu capital depended on strength and status. An ordinary cultivator might only receive a light penalty. Even Lord Chuyuan's killing of some of Emperor Chu Yu's guards had earned him only a modest fine. Luo Feng surveyed the gathered cultivators and sighed inwardly. Many of the Origin Continent's powerhouses didn't care for lower lives. Accidents and wanton cruelty were all too common. Luo He. Emperor Chu Yu stepped from the void and approached. For the first time, he had ventured out of the Marquis residence in his true form. What happened? Weren't Lord Chuan, Marquis Chu Ji, and the 3 honored guests ganging up on you? They attacked Origin beside me and forced me to reveal myself, Luo Feng said coldly. I couldn't just stand by. You punished them? Emperor Chu Yu blinked. 1 against 5, and Luo Feng had punished them all? Come, let's go to Luo He's cave mansion and talk. Luo Feng nodded. He took Emperor Chu Yu across the void and 2 steps back to his cave mansion. The spatial suppression in Chu capital was severe. Chaos Realm cultivators usually only made short teleports. Luo Feng's ability to take them from Thousand Star Tower to his mansion in 2 steps revealed the depth of his void-traversing techniques. What punishment did you give them? Emperor Chu pressed. Sun honored guest used a powerful karma escape and fled with Marquis Chu. I couldn't intercept them, Luo Feng explained. The other three had their true bodies destroyed and their treasures taken. Lord Chuyuan was beaten into a pulp, and I took his God King weapon. That was their punishment. He did not hide the truth. He would need Emperor Chuyu's help to sell the spoils and convert them into cultivation resources. Emperor Chuyu's eyes widened. A one-man sweep of 5? Only 2 managed to escape via karma technique? Luohe, how strong are you now? He asked, excited. The golden feather divine bird fragments Chuyu brought helped my body refinement art. It advanced. It can barely be called chaotic realm transcendent level, though my methods are still crude, Luo Feng admitted. To sweep 5 alone, I suspected you were a chaotic realm transcendent, Emperor Chuyu said in surprise. My methods still need refinement. Luo Feng was honest. Chaotic realm transcendents were supposed to contend with God King First Realm cultivators, but Luo Feng felt that against a true God King First Realm opponent, he would likely be toyed with. He could bully peak primal chaos realm foes by using raw power, but there was still a long way to go. Luohe, you're already very powerful. Our entire Emperor Chu lineage has only 2 chaotic realm transcendents so far, Emperor Chu said. You're now the 3rd. Whether it had been Luo Feng or the previous 2, all had served as honored guests of the Emperor Chu lineage. Your position is completely different now, Emperor Chu continued, excitement in his voice. Many troublesome tasks will no longer be troublesome with your strength. I can get you more dangerous assignments. The rewards would be much greater. Are you interested in frontier duties? Emperor Chu asked. The border between Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and Thunder Ancient Country is fiercely contested. Ordinary clashes are handled by Chaos Realm cultivators, so a Chaotic Realm Transcendent makes a huge difference out there. Every tens of thousands of epochs, God King level conflicts flare up. At those times, Chaos Realm forces withdraw. Luo Feng knew the reality. Internal competition in the Emperor Chu lineage would be fiercer than ever. The struggles among the royal 13 bloodlines were relentless. Wars between the 2 great ancient kingdoms were the main reason God Kings died across the origin continent. Frontier tasks can wait, Luo Feng said. I need a few years of seclusion to cultivate. Very well. I'll follow your lead, Luohe, Emperor Chuyu replied, beaming. Also, now that you have chaotic realm transcendent strength, the old ancestor may take notice and accept you as a personal disciple. Luo Feng's heart stirred. Chaotic realm transcendent honored guests often became disciples of emperors or powerful god kings. Just be patient. There should be results soon, Emperor Chuyu added. Luo Feng nodded. He would wait and see before dealing with the spoils of war. They had to be used wisely. News of the 1,000-star tower battle consolidated and spread swiftly through the city. A skirmish involving a first-rank marquise and a guest official, 1 against 5, and a clean sweep. That was explosive news. Marquis Chuji and Shun honored guest had escaped by karma escape. The other 3 had been annihilated. Lord Chuan had been reduced to a meatball. The shock to Chu Capital's factions was immediate. At the residence of Chuyu's family, the Marcus's wife and 3 sons learned the details. Mother, did Uncle really sweep 5 alone? The eldest son asked, excitement making him flush. Is Uncle Luo he a chaotic realm transcendent? Is he the 3rd chaotic realm transcendent in our Emperor Chu lineage? The second son asked. Does he possess power comparable to an ordinary god king? All 3 sons were thrilled. This was their uncle. Those Marquis Chuji and Lord Chuyuan were blind to provoke him, their mother said with a bright smile. They've paid dearly. In recent Chaos epochs, as the weakest among the 7 first-rank Marquis forces, their faction had felt stifled and beleaguered. Just then, Emperor Chuyu returned home. Father, his family greeted. Chuyu, his wife and sons answered as they approached him. Have you heard about Uncle? Ha! You must have received the news. It's true, Emperor Chuyu laughed aloud, a rare, carefree sound. My Luohe is truly a chaotic realm transcendent, but you must still behave modestly in public. Understood, the 3 sons answered immediately. Wife, prepare a banquet tonight to celebrate for my Luohe, Emperor Chuyu ordered. Right away, she replied, heart aflutter. Emperor Chuyu laughed as he left. After so long being constrained and patient, This unexpected boon eased his path ahead. Among the 7 first-rank marquises, only he had a chaotic realm transcendent as a guest official. Chapter 123, Zuo Shanke. After Reincarnation, news of a conflict in the Chu capital of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom spread through the city and, in a short time, across the whole origin continent. Yanfeng ancient kingdom, another chaotic realm transcendent has appeared? The 71st chaotic realm transcendent on the origin continent. Luo He Great Saint? Many overt and covert powers took note. A chaotic realm transcendent was already equivalent to an ordinary god king, and such figures were rarer than god kings themselves. The name Luo He Great Saint was recorded and circulated widely. What? He's already a chaotic realm transcendent? Yu Shui Tianyu, the princess of Yu country, was surprised when she heard. When he was secluded in Huyang City, he only showed eternal true god strength. Now he's gone to the Chu capital, and he's become a chaotic realm transcendent. No wonder he never became my royal father's disciple, the princess mused. Chaotic realm transcendents, effectively on par with ordinary god kings, were more likely to be sought as disciples by emperors. The greatest cultivators coveted the discipleship of the ancestors of the 2 great ancient kingdoms, but those ancestors rarely appeared. Emperors were more accessible, so strong figures often tried to attach themselves to emperors. Lord Luyin was also startled. The last time he fought me, he only revealed primal chaos realm peak strength and didn't even destroy my true body. Was he hiding strength deliberately, or did he break through after going to the Chu capital? He felt uneasy. An enemy who had become a chaotic realm transcendent was a serious problem, especially when Huyang City bordered his fief. By contrast, Ninejiang Marcus was ecstatic when he heard the news. Luo He has become a chaotic realm transcendent. Giving him Huyang City was a brilliant move. His prospective fief was now secure, and he had gained a powerful backer. The leap from primal chaos realm peak to chaotic realm transcendent was a qualitative one. With special inheritances cultivated through Hunyuan power or primordial materials, chaotic realm transcendence could reach god-king level strength and overwhelm primal chaos realm peak cultivators. Luo Feng had achieved that step with his formless and faceless ability. On the other side of the continent, a border city of Thunder Ancient Country stirred. Thunder Ancient Country was the other core power of the origin continent, and many peripheral states were allied to it. In those regions, the Yanfeng Guild didn't operate. Only the Thunder Merchant Guild did. Rumble. A burly man with azure scales and wings, armored and riding a cold-breathing Chaos Realm beast, led his personal guards down from the sky toward the city lord's mansion. Servants greeting him bowed respectfully. This was the city's most revered figure, City Lord Zuo Shanke. Quickly prepare food and drink, Zuo Shanke ordered as he walked toward the main hall. His beast flew to its own enclosure in the compound. Inside the hall, he retracted his great wings. An invisible aura spread naturally. His eyes were deep, but his mouth carried a slight smile. My disciple's talent is extraordinary. He's been on the origin continent for only a little more than 30 epochs, and he's already a chaotic realm transcendent, Zuo Shanke thought. His talent and potential surpass mine completely. Revenge still flickered in him. Zuo Shanke had come to the origin continent through reincarnation. As Luo Feng's master, he had studied detailed information about Luo He. When he rose to prominence, when he broke through reincarnation, the weapons he used, his immense divine body, the scarcity of close contacts, and an associate named Origin Ancestor. From those clues, Zuo Shanke had conclusively deduced that Luo He was Luo Feng. Though my greatest hope is pinned on my disciple, I must not remain weak. If I face the lords of Shi country again, I don't want to be a burden to him. At the very least, I must be able to tie them down, he told himself. I once followed Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. In this life, I'll attach myself to Thunder Ancient Country as a guest elder. Thunder Ancient Country had different inheritances from Yanfeng. Zuo Shanke intended to pursue the Hunyuan bloodline path, arduous and mentally perilous, possibly maddening, but capable of yielding terrors of power. The ancient beings of Thunder Ancient Country were no lesser than the emperors of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Zuo Shanke knew he had escaped the 3 lords of Shi country before because of his life-saving techniques, but to take true revenge, he needed a foundational breakthrough in strength. Back in the Chu capital, Luo Feng, now known continent-wide as Luo He Great Saint, received countless invitations from those who wanted to visit him, befriend him, or become his disciple. He had no intention of taking another disciple. His first disciple on the origin continent had been taught by Morosa. He wasn't about to recruit another and place them under Morosa's tutelage too. Master, many people have been inviting your disciple recently, Mo Yuqingyan said to Luo Feng. May I go out? Go if you wish, Luo Feng nodded. You have a long road ahead. Choose your friends and actions freely, but be prepared to bear the karma that comes with those choices. Mo Yuqingyan understood and replied, I will. Luo Feng turned and left. Morosa cautioned Mo Yuqingyan, the waters of the Chu capital are deep. A young void true god like you could fall into illusions and tricks without realizing it. I'll accompany you for a while. Mo Yuqingyan breathed a sigh of relief. He had been confined to the cave mansion for so long that he was eager to explore the prosperous Chu capital, one of the greatest cities on the origin continent. Origin Ancestor, meanwhile, accepted invitations from various Chu capital forces, but he only attended with an illusory clone. The clone looked like his true body, but lacked a true god heart. In Luo Feng's cave mansion, in his quiet room inside the Star Tower space, he ignored most visitors and focused on cultivation. Emperor Chu Yu, recognizing Luo Feng's status as a chaotic realm guest elder, sent him a message and a list of difficult missions that had long gone uncompleted by other guest elders. The first task caught Luo Feng's eye: completely kill Lord Saiyu, a Chaos Realm cultivator. Lord Saiyu had been a primal Chaos Realm peak cultivator and a city lord within Thunder Ancient Country's territory. He had manipulated desires and caused many deaths, including 3 eternal true gods of the Yanfeng royal family. Upon discovery of his crimes, he fled and defected to Thunder Ancient Country. The bounty for complete kill was 200,000 merit points. Completely kill. Luo Feng frowned. The task definition meant making the enemy vanish entirely from the origin continent without any karma tied to them remaining. Whether they could reincarnate secretly was nearly impossible to verify. If they concealed a reincarnation, nobody could prove it. Lord Saiyu is skilled at mind manipulation. Intelligence says his mental will has reached God King level, Luo Feng thought. My God King second realm mental will might barely surpass his. Even with Lai Yuan art, I can't be sure of killing him. Primal Chaos Realm peak cultivators had cultivated for countless epochs and built extremely strong wills, sometimes forming unique will-based techniques. Eradicating them by will alone was extraordinarily difficult. Luo Feng noticed many such bounty tasks for Chaos Realm experts, jobs that had remained undone for long periods. Emperors disdained dealing with Chaos Realm cultivators directly. The problems they caused, even when grave, were beneath the attention of an emperor. God Kings could sometimes kill Chaos Realm cultivators, but if the opponent's consciousness managed a sliver of clarity, it could reincarnate, creating a powerful hidden enemy. God Kings might not fear such foes personally, but they worried about threats to their heirs and loved ones. So taking on missions to eliminate Chaos Realm cultivators permanently was risky and unpopular. These tasks are few takers, Luo Feng thought. Facing the lords of Shi country later will be orders of magnitude harder. As a guest elder of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and a first-rank Marquis, Emperor Chu Yu provided Luo Feng with detailed information about the origin continent. Luo Feng learned more about the strength of the 3 lords of Shi country. Tian Kun, the lord of Shi country, was a god king, second realm cultivator with powerful inheritances. Very few on the origin continent could match him. His life-saving techniques were formidable. Even when emperors intervened, they could suppress Tian Kun, but not claim to have completely killed him. Snow Realm Ancestor, a god king first realm cultivator burdened with monstrous sins, still lived, proof of how resilient these ancient beings could be. The stronger they are, the more mysterious and impenetrable their life-saving methods become, Luo Feng mused. What level of strength would it take to completely kill Tian Kun, to prevent reincarnation altogether? He shook his head. The answer was far beyond his current reach. Chapter 124. It's him. Most of these high-reward but troublesome tasks revolved around the Thunder Ancient Country or hunting Chaos Realm cultivators. Take the Seize the Sky Yin Fruit mission, for example. The Emperor Chu lineage was offering 10,000 merits for each fruit, no upper limit. There was a tree in the border region between the two great ancient kingdoms currently ripening, likely to bear over 1,000 fruits in succession. The Thunder ancient country had set up a powerful formation to guard it, and the town defender was a chaotic realm transcendent. The two great ancient kingdoms hold the core and richest regions of the origin continent, Luo Feng mused as he reviewed the missions. They monopolize many of the rare treasures heaven and earth produces. Even minor resources like Tiank stone essence are rarely poached, only the boldest dare. For something like Sky Yin fruit, even god kings won't snatch it lightly. Usually the two great ancient kingdoms fight each other over such prizes. He divided the troublesome missions in his head into 3 types: bounty missions, town defender missions, and treasure raids. Bounty missions were risky because targets often reincarnate. A so-called thorough kill could still leave another hidden enemy behind. Town defender missions consumed a long time. Treasure raids were extremely dangerous. The opposition could be on the same level or higher. With my brute force, I can bully the weak, he thought. But in high-merit town defender or treasure missions, I could meet opponents of equal or greater strength. Chaotic realm transcendents have higher realms than me, and their methods are unpredictable. Compared to them, I'm just a reckless battering ram. I need more experience. So he chose bounty missions. He would avoid targets with overly strong soul will and pick those with weaker souls. Scanning the list, one entry fixed his attention. Bounty mission. Thoroughly kill Great Sacred Beiyu. Great Sacred Beiyu hadn't offended the Yanfeng ancient kingdom politically. His crime was appetite. He kept many ordinary cities in his territory, stocked with cultivators he treated as food, sometimes devouring an entire city slowly, sometimes swallowing an entire large city in one gulp when he roamed outside his fief. Because his territory was small, he couldn't always satisfy himself, and his roaming feasts eventually landed him on Yanfeng's bounty list. His true body had been killed several times, yet he kept returning. The reward on this mission was 100,000 merits. Luo Feng remembered Mei Wuqi mentioning a being who could swallow a whole city. The intelligence noted that Great Sacred Beiyu was at Primal Chaos Realm peak and cultivated the Life Origin Great Path with unusually strong life-saving abilities. To me, someone who devours living beings is scum, Luo Feng thought, his killing intent kindled by the report. I haven't heard that his soul will is exceptionally strong. Let's see how he fares against my Li Yuan art. Using Li Yuan art on a Chaos Realm cultivator no longer fazed him. Li Yuan art was a unique supreme secret art only he knew the true nature of. Others couldn't easily infer he possessed it. Even if a chaotic realm transcendent had a secret art, the coincidence wasn't suspicious. Still, completely killing a primal chaos realm peak expert was difficult. God kings were reluctant to take such missions for that reason. Close combat could annihilate an enemy's body, but enemies with blood drop rebirths or revival vessels hidden across the origin continent could evade a final death. He would likely have to rely on Li Yuan art. Great Sacred Beiyu, towering with a huge furry head, strolled across the harsh expanse of the heavenly extremes ice plains, eyeing a nearby city. Devouring cultivators was both his pleasure and his cultivation method. Comprehending the life origin great path required devouring living beings. On the origin continent, the life origin path produced 2 types of practitioners, those who cherished life, and monstrous devils like Snow Realm Ancestor and Great Sacred Beiyu who treated life as nourishment. Those lineages often had formidable life-saving arts. Inside the city, a young woman rushed from her quiet room, breathless with excitement. "Father, I've become a true god," she called. Her younger siblings bounced around her. Life on the heavenly extremes, ice plains, was harsh. Resources were scarce. Her father's hunting of exotic beasts had yielded precious blood essence that enabled her breakthrough. "I'll work toward Void True God next," she vowed. "Then I can take care of the family." Her parents smiled. "We'll count on you. Maybe you can get us a better cave." Outside, Great Sacred Beiyu looked at the city. "They've multiplied enough. Time to feast." His maw opened. The citizens saw an enormous furry head blot out the sky, the gap of his mouth stretching above the city. Panic swept through the streets. No! What is that? Help! Great Sacred Bayou, help us! Most people had never known the monster to devour cities outside his own fiefdom, so they screamed for salvation in reflex. Then an invisible, terrifying current swept through the city, dragging every living being toward the gaping mouth overhead. The young woman's hands clutched at her parents and siblings, but the sweep separated them. They could only gasp at one another helplessly. On Great Sacred Bayou's massive head, satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. He was lost in the thrill of devouring. Then he paused. From the wilderness, a small black-clothed figure had appeared, stepping calmly into view. Though tiny compared to the huge head, the figure registered something in him. The Luo He Great Saint, the intelligence had mentioned, an honored chaotic realm transcendent guest of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom. Great Sacred Bayou's heart shivered at the recognition. Luo Feng didn't hesitate. Slay! He unleashed Li Yuan art. In a blink, everything changed. Great Sacred Bayou could no longer see the intruder. He couldn't see himself either. In the world, his senses registered only one thing, an infinitely majestic star, a formation of will Luo Feng had conjured with Li Yuan art. It condensed, expanded, and surged like a planet crushing through the cosmos, colliding with the Devourer's soul will. Pfft! Bayou's soul will was annihilated in an instant. No resistance, no aftershocks. After countless years of accumulation, he had a primal chaos realm peak will. Even a god king would typically only suppress him. But Luo Feng's Li Yuan art erased his will utterly. Great Sacred Bayou's body, stunned and lifeless, began to fall from the sky. The sweeping force that had dragged the city vanished. The terrified citizens tumbled back toward the ground. Luo Feng waved his hand and gathered Great Sacred Bayou's corpse. He examined it briefly. His soul will is still within the Chaos Realm category, he thought. As long as it's in the Chaos Realm category, Li Yuan art can kill by thought alone. The leap from primal Chaos Realm peak to God King is a qualitative one. A God King's will combined with Li Yuan art could sweep away Chaos Realm wills. But between first and second realm God Kings, the difference is small. Li Yuan art at best suppresses them. Complete annihilation of will was rare and required tremendous mastery. On the Origin continent, total extermination of an opponent's will typically occurred two ways. 1. A Karma Great Path expert, eradicating all revival vessels through overwhelming karmic force. 2. Soul Path practitioners who could annihilate the opponent's soul directly. The Soul Path was the hardest to cultivate. There was no established great path to follow. One had to grope forward in darkness. Back in the city, tens of thousands of cultivators landed in a shocked, trembling heap. The young woman found her family again, terrified, bewildered, and together they looked up at the now empty sky where the monstrous maw had been. Life resumed in a dazed, grateful murmur. The threat had vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. Having secured a complete corpse, Luo Feng thought of his companion. This can serve as rations for Morosa, he noted, and then he stepped across the void toward the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, the bounty mission complete. Chapter 125, The Secret Technique of Cutting 72 Slashes. Luo Feng had utterly slain Great Sacred Bayou with the Li Yuan art. The Dark Hall of the Yanfeng Guild confirmed that Bayou's karma had been completely wiped out and immediately informed various important guests of his death. Great Sacred Bayou is dead? He was a primal chaos realm peak expert who cultivated the life origin great path. His combat ability wasn't top tier, but his life-saving techniques were extreme. Who could kill him outright? Some of the top figures among the ancient god kings on Origin continent? Those existences are highly revered and rarely bully the weak. Bayou himself was cautious and wouldn't provoke them. What happened? Bayou's death drew wide attention across Origin continent and left many experts unsettled. They feared that whoever had killed such a terrifying existence might next come for them. Some speculated that Bayou had immediately triggered reincarnation upon meeting an unsurmountable foe, and thus was still alive in a new body. That was a reasonable theory. Facing an enemy you cannot beat, reincarnation is the decisive move. Luo Feng's divine power avatar in Chu Capital also received the news from the Yanfeng Guild Dark Hall. With his current status, he was subscribed to Origin Continent's key intelligence. The bulletin merely stated that Great Sacred Bayou was dead. The cause and the killer were unknown. Luo Feng found the whole thing amusing. When he acted, the only people present had been the cultivators in that ordinary city. At Luo Feng's realm of power, those mundane cultivators wouldn't even have been able to see him if he'd walked past. The only one who had known he acted was Great Sacred Beiyu. Luo Feng had simply glanced at him, used the Li Yuan art, and Beiyu died, without time to cast any reincarnation secret technique or spread the news. With his evasion and transformation spatial technique, Luo Feng's travel speed was tremendous, but it still took about 6 hours to get back from the Heavenly Extremes ice plains to Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom's Chu capital. At the Chuyu Marquis residence, Emperor Chuyu read the dispatch with a mix of surprise and curiosity. I assigned Luo He a cluster of troublesome tasks, and he chose the one involving Great Sacred Beiyu. Not long after he accepted it, Beiyu dies? The Emperor mused. Luo He's physical body is formidable. He swept through Primal Chaos Realm peak cultivators at Thousand Star Tower. But no matter how powerful his body, he shouldn't be able to kill a Chaos Realm cultivator outright. Great Sacred Beiyu possessed many life-preserving secret techniques. Emperor Chuyu considered that perhaps Luo Feng's terrifying physicality had been only a surface trick, and that he had hidden killing methods even capable of slaying a Primal Chaos Realm peak. A thought flickered in the Emperor's eyes. Could Luo He be a reincarnated God King? If so, unknown hidden techniques would make sense. Just then a figure arrived above the Marquis' residence. Luo He. The Emperor greeted him, and Luo Feng descended. Mission accomplished, Luo Feng said with a small smile. Emperor Chuyu exhaled. I didn't expect you to have a method that can completely slay a Primal Chaos Realm peak cultivator. Perhaps you were holding back when you fought those 5 earlier. Luo Feng only smiled. Those 5 had been all Primal Chaos Realm peak. He wasn't certain he could have killed them all with the Li Yuan art. There were also 2 first-rank Marquises present. Killing a royal eternal true god or a royal first-rank Marquis would bring immediate consequences. Besides, within Chu capital, he needed to keep a low profile. Mission accomplished. Do you need proof? Luo Feng asked. This mission hadn't been claimed in a long time. You claimed it and Beiyu died. That's partial proof. If you have Beiyu's corpse or weapon, present it and I'll record it. Emperor Chuyu added, if you have neither, you can submit a recorded memory of the killing. Luo Feng produced Great Sacred Beiyu's famous double-bladed axe. Emperor Chuyu inspected it and nodded. All right, I've submitted the mission. Your merits will be awarded soon. Please keep this matter confidential, Luo Feng requested. Emperor Chuyu nodded. Don't worry, this mission is handled directly by my office and recorded by the Emperor Palace artifact spirit. Aside from the Emperor ancestor, no one outside will know. A short while later, Luo Feng's guest official token received notice. He had been awarded 100,000 merits. He grinned inwardly. He had set his sights on 2 inheritances earlier and had saved for this last exchange. With these merits, he could finally claim the inheritance he most wanted. Luo Feng bade Emperor Chuyu farewell and went to the Emperor Palace to exchange merits for the inheritance he had coveted. Inside the Emperor Palace's inheritance hall, the artifact spirit elder regarded him. Luo He guest official, are you sure you want to exchange for the first volume of the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes? Confirmed, Luo Feng replied. The artifact spirit nodded and then disappeared. The inheritance hall dissolved into a chaotic void. A hazy light enveloped Luo Feng as a tremendous flood of inheritance information poured into his mind. His consciousness absorbed it quickly, and he soon understood the true nature of what he'd exchanged for. He was shocked. Previously, he had only understood the basics, but the full inheritance stunned him. The first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form traditionally required mastery of the 3 branches of the life origin great path: life spirituality, life body, and life source. Yet the first volume of the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes contained only 2 branches of the destruction origin great path: the sky-splitting lineage and the dark sky lineage. Despite including only 2 branches, this first volume had cost 90,000 merits, only slightly less than the 100,000 merits required for the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form. And the secret technique offered almost no life-preserving ability. Why was it so costly? Because it was devastatingly powerful. Luo Feng finally understood how terrifying a path devoted solely to slaughter and destruction could be. Such a path didn't rely on self-preservation. By killing the enemy could no longer be a threat. His own self-developed saber techniques felt like toys compared to this inheritance. In the inheritance, he found the sky-splitting saber art, 3 forms. Each saber strike looked restrained and unassuming, its visible power modest, yet each seemed to cleave everything in its path, severing the very operation of laws. A single strike split open reality itself. Even the thick, profound world membrane cracked under it. My hundreds of billions of units of transformed power erupt with immeasurable might, but they can't even nick the world membrane. Luo Feng remembered. Many ancient god kings couldn't break that cage membrane, and yet these unadorned saber strikes simply cut through all things. It was as if everything had to be sliced open. Then he examined the dark sky lineage. Its saber lights were even more restrained than the sky-splitting strikes, but that restraint made his heart race. The dark sky saber art was the extreme condensation of power, refining the same amount of power tens of thousands, even millions of times over. An ordinary saber light, when refined to that degree, could destroy everything. Where sky-splitting was the art of cutting all things, dark sky was the art of refining power to such an extreme that even a seemingly small strike carried unimaginable destructive effect. In front of such techniques, the cage membrane trembled as if about to crack. The inheritance's core revealed itself. The 3 forms of the sky-splitting saber art and the 3 forms of the dark sky saber art were meant to be merged. Combine dark sky's ultimate refinement with sky-splitting's ability to cut through all things, and the resulting saber light, refined and sharp, could carve a rift in the world membrane. It was a world-destroying force. Luo Feng felt certain that even his formidable body would be annihilated by that saber light. And this was only the first volume, the first 3 sabers of the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes. The creator's intent came through clearly in the inheritance, to transcend the cage, to seek limitless and ultimate destructive power, to cut through everything and even sever the operation of rules themselves. The obsession within the technique was palpable. Cut everything. Even that which lay beyond the cage must be severed. The secret technique represented the creator's most powerful saber art at the time of leaving the inheritance. He had been pursuing ever stronger saber arts to slice through ever mightier targets. While Luo Feng absorbed the inheritance, the emperor watched from within the emperor palace. He can really kill a primal chaos realm peak cultivator. Could he be a reincarnated god king? The emperor wondered. Whatever Luo Feng's origin, the emperor believed that any life born in this source world could be nurtured. The 2 great ancient kingdoms had the magnanimity to encompass the whole source world. Even peak world beasts could be tolerated, so long as they were controllable and not wantonly destructive. In terms of sheer strength, the emperor admitted he wasn't as strong as Di Qing. Across Origin Continent, aside from the 2 ancestral gods, Di Qing is considered the strongest. I cannot compare. But when it came to cultivating disciples, he thought he might hold his own. Di Qing had produced a flourishing lineage, 15 direct disciples, 6 god kings, 8 chaotic realm transcendents, and 1 primal chaos realm peak. Those disciples had their own disciples. 2 god kings had even emerged among them. Emperor Chu Yu, by contrast, had only 2 disciples, a chaotic realm transcendent and a primal chaos realm peak. If Luo He is a reincarnated god king and I take him as a direct disciple, the emperor mused. Watching Luo Feng absorb the inheritance, he felt pleased. Luo Feng had chosen 2 inheritances as a guest official, one in the life origin lineage and the other in the destruction origin lineage. The emperor himself cultivated the destruction origin great path. He may be destined to be my disciple, the emperor thought. Yet he also understood the nature of those inheritances. They were Dao comprehension inheritances, not ones reliant on primordial origin objects or Hunyuan bloodline. Dao comprehension inheritances required forging one's own Dao and were immensely difficult. Still, the emperor began to plan what to prepare for his potential 3rd disciple. Among the royal 13 bloodlines, it was customary for emperors to present weapons, resources, and other gifts to their disciples, and he would need to think carefully about what to offer Luo Feng. Chapter 126, Suspicious Points About the Star Tower. Inside Luo Feng's cave abode, Morosa and Moyu Qingyan, master and disciple in everything but title, were eating and drinking. Morosa chewed happily on a large piece of meat. "Qingyan," he said, "your master is now a chaotic realm transcendent. The resources he hands out casually are things even eternal true gods can't get. As a mere void true god, you must seize this chance and not waste your master's painstaking efforts." "I understand," Moyu Qingyan replied. He knew that, as a disciple of a chaotic realm transcendent, his own strength was still too weak. Morosa continued, "There are plenty of invitations for you in Chu capital, and many daughters of great clans are taken with you. Keep your head clear, young man." Moyu Qingyan forced a smile. The advances of some granddaughter clans back in Chu capital had tempted him. He had come from a small place like Huyang City. Morosa waved a hand. "Cultivators have essentially infinite lifespans. Women aren't essential." He pointed at himself and others. "Look at me. Look at Yuan. Look at your master. None of us have women by our side. Why? Women break your focus in cultivation." Moyu Qingyan paused. It was true. His master, Luo Feng, and others he respected had no attachments. "Cultivation needs focus," Morosa declared. "But of course, many cultivators do get married." Moyu Qingyan couldn't help recalling two daughters of great clans he'd been strongly moved by while in Chu capital. "You know the principle. Decide for yourself." Morosa stood and left. Moyu Qingyan was left alone, thinking. He had seen couples like his parents, who would risk everything for each other and raise their children with devotion. Maybe he should wait and observe more. He'd been dazzled lately and couldn't clearly read those women's hearts. Morosa walked out and immediately saw his master, Luo Feng, descending from the sky. "Master," Morosa greeted, and Luo Feng smiled mysteriously. Seeing that smile stirred something in Morosa. He suppressed his joy and followed Luo Feng to the quiet room. The quiet room inside the Star Tower was Morosa's private cultivation space. Luo Feng and Morosa were both there now. "I went out this time and killed a primal chaos realm peak expert," Luo Feng said. "He cultivated the life origin great path and had a very unusual physical body." With a motion of his hand, the massive corpse of great sacred Beiyu appeared in the space. Morosa's eyes lit up. The corpse radiated a terrifying aura, far stronger than the primal chaos bloodline that Blood Cloud had only barely broken through before his death. "You actually left a corpse after killing a primal chaos realm expert?" Morosa was pleasantly surprised. Normally, if such an opponent had a resurrection vessel, even a remnant of consciousness could shatter the corpse. Primal chaos realm corpses were rare. "Ever since I reached the primal chaos realm, my progress has been slow," Morosa said. "I can only rely on absorbing the power of heaven and earth. This time, my strength will finally grow significantly." Morosa's rate of absorbing heaven and earth energy wasn't slow. He could absorb the reserves equivalent to a perfect divine body at the primal chaos realm in about an epoch, but that energy was pure and relatively weak. A powerful corpse contained its own laws, which aided the growth of the world inside one's body in a far more substantial way. "You can cultivate slowly," Luo Feng said with a smile, and then left the room. Morosa immediately began a secret technique. Great Sacred Beiyu's corpse started to be absorbed and digested. The partial profoundness of the life origin great path within the corpse merged into the world inside Morosa's body, causing that inner world to grow, if slowly. As his inner world expanded, Morosa naturally comprehended deeper facets of the destruction origin great path. While ordinary cultivators might focus on one branch, Morosa's digestion allowed him to absorb many branches at once, making broad and comprehensive progress. Back in Luo Feng's personal cultivation chamber, inside the Star Tower, Luo Feng began to study the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes. Before this, he'd never owned a God King level inheritance focused on the destruction origin great path. The Breaking World 9 blades he had cultivated earlier had been forged by someone only at the primal chaos realm. He hadn't fully comprehended any single branch of the destruction origin. The saber technique he'd left behind confused him more than it helped. Even with his strong spiritual will, Luo Feng could only make slow headway in grasping the partial profoundness of the destruction origin great path shown by Morosa. This is a great path inheritance, Luo Feng thought, moved as he carefully studied the first volume of the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes. It contained a wealth of inheritance material from the sky-splitting lineage. The creator of the technique stood at a very high realm and explained the sky-splitting lineage from multiple angles, making it clear and comprehensible. Many of the confusions Luo Feng had carried since reaching the primal chaos realm began to vanish. His understanding of the sky-splitting and dark sky lineages steadily deepened. Luo Feng proceeded sentence by sentence, slow and meticulous. It took him more than half an epoch to thoroughly research both the sky-splitting and dark sky lineages. After that study, he felt transformed. The fog had lifted. He now saw those lineages clearly and had comprehended most of the sky-splitting lineage, the portion that was easiest to absorb. Still, the deepest parts remained difficult. Many Primal Chaos Realm peak experts stalled at the final bottleneck, the step preventing them from becoming God Kings. A truly top-tier inheritance provides immense help, Luo Feng said to himself. Before he reached the Primal Chaos Realm, he'd never truly worried about inheritances. The Duan Donghe lineage and his master Zuo Shanka's lineage had been enough. Only after entering the Primal Chaos Realm did he feel the difference between having and lacking a proper inheritance. As Luo Feng practiced, he sliced his palm through space as if cutting tofu. Understanding how to operate rules allowed a single unit of power to exert tens of thousands, even millions of times its effect. The Great Path, he realized, was precisely that. Suddenly, vast knife river slashes filled the chamber, 20,000 yin-yang particle-formed saber lights executing the knife river slash. The knife river slash was Luo Feng's most simplified Primal Chaos Realm saber technique. Its simplicity kept the mental burden small. The space layers inside the star tower were shredded and turned to primal chaos, leaving only a thick world membrane. Luo Feng's deeper comprehension of the sky-splitting and dark sky lineages let him integrate aspects of them into the knife river slash, refining the move and giving it small, simple applications of those lineages. Even shallow applications, with very little mental burden, slightly increased the move's power. Let's see how many knife river slashes I can control at once now, he thought. 30,000 slashes, 40,000, 50,000. He pushed it up to 83,000 before his mind began to strain. Luo Feng smiled. Comprehending the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes for more than half an epoch, along with the lineage insights, had let him control far more saber lights than before. A single yin-yang particle form knife river slash at full execution could rival the full power strike of a mid-level primal chaos realm expert, burning out their divine power. 83,000 such strikes combined produced raw might not inferior to a God King First Realm's attack. He paused, sensing something odd. Luo Feng realized the star tower itself, refined by his master, felt impervious to his attacks. His master was only a God King First Realm, so the star tower should be a God King First Realm artifact. As such, it should show some strain when confronted with his full power, much like the long staff he had taken as a trophy from Lord Chuyuan, which was also a God King First Realm weapon. Even so, the star tower should at least feel pressure, he thought. Yet every time Luo Feng struck with all his might, the star tower remained untroubled. He stepped to the tower's inner wall and punched. The wall vibrated only slightly and absorbed the blow. Increasing power, he struck heavier and heavier until hundreds of billions of units of transformed divine power erupted from him. He drove 83,000 knife river slashes at full primal chaos effectiveness, then unleashed raw close combat force. The impact thundered against the wall, but the tower only trembled faintly and dispersed the energy. What? My full power close combat strike can't even shake it. Luo Feng was incredulous. If I were trapped inside, I wouldn't be able to break out. Even beings 10 or 100 times stronger than him, if confined within, might not be able to escape. As the Star Tower's master, Luo Feng could sense he was still far from the tower's endurance limit. How far, he couldn't say. Only that his best efforts produced no real effect. It made no sense. A God King. First Realm's secret treasure shouldn't be this strong. A God King level artifact would normally require a like level power to suppress or temper. My master Zuo Shanki, Luo Feng mused, is only the ruler of a peripheral kingdom on the origin continent as far as I know. He once told me an accident happened during the refining of the Star Tower. A golden light merged into it and accelerated its formation. When they had discussed it before, Luo Feng had not noticed anything amiss. But now he thought, how carefully would a god king control the environment while refining an artifact? For an accident to let a foreign object fuse into the Star Tower, that object must have been beyond the god king's control. Luo Feng reached out and carefully probed the tower with his senses. The Star Tower had accompanied him for countless years, but only now did he begin to discover its mysterious aspects. Chapter 127, Yuanshu Prefect hosts a banquet. While Luo Feng was in seclusion, a chaotic realm transcendent arrived in Chu capital. At one of Chu Feng Marcus's villas, someone called out, "Senior brother is here." The handsome, three-eyed man looked toward the distance and rose immediately. Chu Feng Marquis stood as well and peered out, only to see a figure arriving in a blur. The newcomer wore a dark robe, at first glance tattered, but on closer inspection, it seemed like a broken, shadowed world. Green scales flecked his face, making him look strange, yet his eyes were calm and gentle, as if they held the heavens and earth. Wherever he walked, the surrounding environment subtly shifted, as if the operation of heaven and earth adjusted to his presence. Mastering a branch of the origin great path is enough to become a god king. A complete life origin great path can even alter the laws of a primordial universe. Even a branch can support the operating laws of a small universe, allowing a god king to create one. God kings embody unique cosmic laws and wield inconceivable powers. The way the heavens and earth seemed to revolve around this dark-robed man marked him clearly as such a being. Yuanshu Prefect is only a chaotic realm transcendent, and yet he can influence heaven and earth. Chu Feng Marquis thought, secretly alarmed. He hurried forward to greet him. "Senior brother, this is Chu Feng Marcus." The three-eyed man stepped up smiling. Chu Feng greets the prefect. Chu Feng Marcus was humble. Chaotic realm transcendents are existences comparable to the first realm of god kings. They seldom pay heed to first-rank marquises. When a transcendent does take an interest in a first-rank marquis, it's purely a matter of disposition. The last time I saw Chu Feng Marquis, he was only a second-rank marquis, Yuanshu Prefect observed with a smile. Now he is a first-rank marquis. To advance this far with an ordinary divine body, impressive. You flatter me, Prefect. Please, be seated. Chu Feng Marcus replied enthusiastically. The three settled, and attendants served wine and food. "I heard your visit to Chu capital is to call on a god king?" Chu Feng Marcus asked. "Yes, my purpose is to visit a god king," Yuanshu Prefect said. "But I've also heard there's a chaotic realm transcendent here, named Luo He Great Saint. He is very mysterious and rarely acts. Once he fought 5 primal chaos realm peak experts by himself and wiped them out. That's how word of his true power spread," Chu Feng Marquis explained. "So low-key, it seems he focuses on cultivation," Yuanshu Prefect said, interested. "Chu Feng, I would like to meet this Luo He Great Saint and discuss the Great Path. Will you arrange it and see if he is willing?" Chu Feng Marquis's spirits brightened. It wasn't that he feared being asked for favors by a transcendent. What he feared was being ignored. "Prefect, rest assured, I will arrange it perfectly." During his secluded cultivation, Luo Feng occasionally withdrew to relax his mind. "Master, Chu Feng Marquis personally called for you," Morosa reported. "You were in seclusion at the time, so I didn't disturb you." "He called for me?" Luo Feng was surprised. Chu Feng Marquis was a first-rank marquis of the imperial family. The man had shown proper respect by not disturbing him during seclusion. "What for?" "He said his good friend, Yuanshu Prefect, wishes to host a banquet to invite you to discuss the Great Path," Morosa said. "His visit was to ask if you would attend." "Discuss the Great Path, Yuanshu Prefect?" Luo Feng knew of Yuanshu. The Emperor Chu lineage had only 2 chaotic realm transcendents, Lord Mingwo, a direct disciple of the Emperor Di Chu, and Yuanshu Prefect, a direct disciple of the Lord of Myriad Worlds, ruler of the first-rate Myriad Worlds country. The origin continent's 3 major first-rate powers, Tianmu country, Myriad Worlds country, and the East Extremity domain, each owed their status to unique strengths. The Lord of Myriad Worlds, with his own might, had raised a nation and trained many disciples across the continent. Should we attend? Morosa asked. Yes, Luo Feng nodded. He was interested in a great path discussion with someone of equivalent level. Chaotic realm transcendents who cultivated through primordial origin objects or Hunyuan bloodlines were common on the origin continent. This would be a chance to measure himself against them. At Chu Capital's renowned 13-star hall, Yuanshu Prefect hosted a banquet specifically to entertain Luo He Great Saint. The hall had been established by Di Chu when the 13 emperors of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom once gathered in Chu Capital. The place had since become famous. Chufeng Marquis arranged everything, and the event was lavish. 2 chaotic realm transcendents discussing the Great Path. Rare indeed. I heard, apart from Lord Chuyuan, the other 6 first-rank marquises have come. What a shame we can't attend. Some master chefs preparing the feast murmured among themselves. All were eternal true god level. One, the head chef, was even a Chaos Realm expert invited personally by Chu Feng Marquis. In another pavilion, a chubby man spoke to a young woman in green. Sister Yu, I did everything I could to get you a slot to perform in front of the hall tonight. High-ranking officials from across the capital are here. 6 of 7 first-rank marquises, 2 chaotic realm transcendents, more than 10 direct disciples of God Kings. If one of them takes a liking to you, it could change everything. Chu Lei Ho, thank you. If not for you, I wouldn't be here, the woman said gratefully. Chu Lei Ho shook his head. As a third-rank Marquis of the Imperial family, I lack real power in Chu Capital, but I've networked and enjoyed myself long enough to help. He was one of the 29 Enfiaft Marquises of the Imperial family, and one of the few with any notable clout. Still, compared to true chaotic realm power, he was insignificant. Luo Feng's Milky Way Saberlight, with the destructive force of a mid-level Chaos Realm full-strength attack, would far outclass Chu Lei Hu. I should remind you, Chu Lei Hao continued, Luo He Great Saint is fond of music. When he was in Huyang City, he liked 2 musicians in particular. I bought you this intelligence with a lot of cosmic sand. If your music pleases him, your status in Chu Capital will be safe. The young woman's eyes brightened. Thank you so much. This banquet's main hall contained 6 Imperial first-rank marquises, 8 Imperial second-rank marquises, 9 guest elders, and 15 direct disciples of God Kings, with retinues and attendants. The 2 most honored seats at the head table were reserved for the 2 chaotic realm transcendents. They're here. Luo He Great Saint has arrived. When Luo Feng and Emperor Chu Yu entered, the crowd's attention shifted. Imperial third-rank marquises, relatives of higher-ranked marquises, and idle Chaos Realm figures filled the side halls, and even servants craned their necks to catch a glimpse of the black-clothed man. Yuanshu Prefect stepped out to greet him. Brother Luo He, he said with a smile. Brother Yuanshu, Luo Feng replied, returning the greeting. The dark-robed prefect exuded the same subtle dominance over the laws of heaven and earth. He can influence the laws of heaven and earth, Luo Feng thought to himself, quietly astonished. In terms of great path mastery alone, he felt inferior to such chaotic realm transcendence. Yuanshu Prefect studied Luo Feng as well. His strongest technique was the dark mansion prison cultivated within his body, able to imprison things in the surrounding world instantly. Looking at Luo Feng, he sensed a terrifying physical body, outwardly ordinary and restrained, yet profoundly deep, as if trying to pull him into that dark mansion. Even without combat, Yuanshu could deduce much at a glance. His physical body surpasses some ancient existences who have just entered the God King First Realm. Yuanshu thought in surprise. Please, Yuanshu said politely. Please, Luo Feng answered. Both were courteous. Their purpose was discussion, not a duel. They entered the main hall together, and everyone rose to greet them before taking seats. Begin the banquet, Chu Feng Marquis ordered. The feast commenced. Rare dishes, fine wines, and spiritual fruits flowed. Luo Feng sampled the food and was impressed. Even the humblest plate rivaled delicacies known as Black Butcher from the Fire Realm restaurant, and many dishes exceeded that. A seemingly ordinary plate of sliced food tasted as if the essence of heaven and earth were condensed. It sharpened his perception and subtly aided his cultivation. Old Brother Yu's culinary skills have improved, Yuanshu Prefect complimented after tasting a dish. Achieving a Chaos Realm through culinary arts is remarkable. Luo Feng recognized Yu Fang, the Chaos Realm guest elder who had reached that realm through cooking. Though only peak Chaos Realm in power, Yu Fang was unrivaled in Chu capital for his culinary art. Throughout the hall, performances began. Dance, music, song, each performer at least an eternal true god in their artistic path. Lesser cultivators' minds could be stirred and distracted by such performances. Luo Feng and the chaotic realm guests watched with relaxed appreciation. As expected of Chu capital, several performers are more skilled than the Menghua Lu Zhu. Luo Feng admired inwardly. He made a mental note to use the performances to practice the 7 emotions heart-refining method. Long cultivation often made emotions numb, and the method helped awaken the soul. The young woman in green took the stage eventually. She poured everything into her performance. When it ended, she looked out hoping for reaction. The guests around the hall continued to eat, drink, and chat. The 2 chaotic realm transcendents at the head table seemed engaged in casual conversation and had barely paid attention. Feeling ashamed to demand notice, she withdrew obediently as her time on stage concluded. Chapter 128, Luo Feng and Yuanshu Prefect. The guests in the main hall at this banquet were all high-ranking officials of Chu capital. Even someone like Yu Fang, though only at the peak of the primal chaos realm, was a rare talent on the origin continent for the culinary arts. God kings often invited him, so his standards were unusually high. He wouldn't accept just any invitation from a first-rank imperial Marcus, but this time the banquet had become a debate between 2 chaotic realm transcendents. Yu Fang knew his place and treated the messengers of true transcendent power with humility. Luo He, Yuanshu Prefect said with a smile as he took his seat, I have cultivated for countless years and chiefly refined a dark prison. Today, I will use some dark prison techniques to spar with you. The assembled guests immediately understood the heart of the evening had arrived. A clash between beings at this level was a rare spectacle. I specialize in body cultivation, Luo Feng replied. I'll use body techniques to spar with you, Prefect. Yuanshu Prefect nodded. His dark robe showed signs of strain, as if it were a broken fragment of a shadowed realm. A few black flames spread from the robe toward Luo Feng across the hall. These are dark prison flames, Yuanshu explained. They scorch the divine bodies and souls of those imprisoned within the dark prison. Luo Feng watched the flames. From his own black robe, a glossy black liquid flowed, sweeping toward the flames like a current. The flames hissed and bit at it, but each wisp of fire was quickly wrapped and smothered by the black liquid. What looked like a modest spill was in truth over 100 million units of the Silver River transformation method, Luo Feng's tactic, win by sheer numbers. Their garments are extraordinary, murmured the onlookers. Can Yuanshu Prefect's robe give rise to dark prison flames? Can Luo He Great Saint's robe exude that black liquid? It has completely enveloped the dark prison flames. The dark prison flames are undying, yet this black liquid contains them. The Marquises, Chaos Realm Elders, and God King disciples present all had keen insight. The dark prison flames were famous and terrifying. Ordinary peak Chaos Realm experts would not dare to resist them directly for fear of being scorched to nothing. And Luo He, Luo Feng, was a chaotic realm transcendent who had mastered body cultivation. Such cultivators were famously hard to destroy at the Chaos Realm level. What secret technique is this black liquid? Yuanshu Prefect exclaimed. He could sense that the flames could not harm it. In fact, under the crushing pressure of the black liquid, they could be annihilated. Luo Feng had already made the attempt, and the prefect understood how potent it was. Luo Feng smiled. You can call it black abyss water. Yuanshu Prefect nodded in admiration. The onlookers were also secretly astonished. The dark prison flame's reputation needed no introduction, but the black abyss water was clearly an equal threat. With a thought, the dark flames retreated, shrinking back into Yuanshu Prefect's robe. Luo Feng recalled his black liquid, gathering the countless units back into himself. I have an axe that gathers the power of the dark prison and can slay its inmates, Yuanshu Prefect said. The world around them dimmed. A colossal axe blade manifested, faint and terrible, like divine punishment. This is one of my strongest techniques. I favor saber techniques, Luo Feng replied. He waved his hand and condensed 80,000 Silver River saber lights into a single massive saber light. The 13-star hall, once the gathering place of 13 emperors, still bore terrifying formations. With them activated, the sparring of two chaotic realm transcendents would not spill over and harm the other guests. Both techniques were top tier. The hall tensed, watching to see which was stronger. The gigantic axe descended slowly, but inexorably. Luo Feng's saberlight met it with a knife river slash. 80,000 saberlights coordinated in a single, devastating strike. Channeling so many Silver River lights and executing a subtle chaotic realm technique taxed his mind and will, but the blow was launched. At the moment of impact, an illusory image of a vast dark prison shimmered behind the axe, as if the world power of a prison realm empowered it. Annihilation, penetration, divine judgment all riding the blade. Luo Feng's saberlight struck like 80,000 mid-level Chaos Realm masters, burning themselves to the limit, embodying the knife river slash's artistic conception of dividing one into two. The clash was cataclysmic. The axe split under the saberlight, cleaved cleanly in two. The saberlight itself was not an artifact, but a convergence of 8 and 10,000 lights. Cracks appeared under the strain, but it immediately recondensed. The axe healed too, reconstituting from the dark prison's world power. Both were manifestations, not permanent weapons. Impressive, Yuanshu Prefect praised. Luo Feng noted the difference. While his saber energy outmatched the axe's raw force, the axe's world power could find and exploit a flaw. It could detect that the 80,000 saber lights were separate entities and pierce between them, causing some of them to be destroyed. In that single exchange, 3 of his 80,000 saber lights were annihilated. Fortunately, Luo Feng still had a vast reserve of Silver River Transformation Method units. All my techniques originate from the Dark Prison, Yuanshu Prefect said. The Dark Prison is my strongest art. Luo He, do you dare enter it? Luo Feng smiled, then shook his head. I dare not. The prefect was slightly taken aback. This was a sparring match in the 13-star hall, governed by rules of propriety, but Luo Feng added, I will, however, separate a portion of my power to test the Dark Prison. He spread out a portion of his reserves, 1 billion units of each of his 5 transformation methods. They poured forth and condensed into a single silver light figure, 5 billion units in total. Yuanshu Prefect's gaze lit up. He lashed the Dark Prison's world power at the silver figure, attempting to drag it into the prison. The Dark Prison's pull was terrifying. Space itself convulsed as the prison tried to claim the avatar. The guests watched, awed and protected by the hall's formations, but the silver figure held firm. The Dark Prison's drag could affect mental consciousness, yet Luo Feng's God King Second Realm will, bolstered by the Li Yuan art, resisted wholly. The silver body vibrated, then shook free. The prefect's face clouded with surprise. It can't be pulled, murmured someone. The Dark Prison cultivated in Yuanshu Prefect's body traps most people. If you're imprisoned inside, escape would be difficult. Yet this silver avatar, condensed from Luohe Great Saint's power, resists it. Under everyone's eyes, the Dark Prison manifested fully and descended, enveloping the silver figure. 8 chains, 8 colors and etched with secret patterns and the aura of Hunyuan power wrapped the avatar. Prison chains forged from Hunyuan materials melted into the Dark Prison itself. Forces of sealing, suppression, strangling, penetration, and tearing poured into the avatar. Luo Feng's silver figure erupted with power, but the chains were unbreakable. The avatar suddenly swelled, reaching toward the hall's ceiling, but the chains held. Luo Feng realized that although his transformation method could gather and disperse invisibly, the 8 chains blocked every unit from escaping. He could only resist with brute strength. Yuanshu's Dark Prison is formidable, Luo Feng thought. Even this 5 billion unit avatar can't break free. If it were my true body, escape might be impossible. Yuanshu Prefect watched in growing respect. He had forged a Dark Prison with Hunyuan materials, yet trapping a power avatar didn't permit him to harm it. He suspected that trapping Luo Feng's true body might be another matter entirely. He retracted the Dark Prison. Luo Feng withdrew his avatar as well. Such massive manifestations were unsuitable for long distance. Without a clone technique, Luo Feng could barely project even a sliver of divine power from afar. This exchange taught both sides and the Watchers much. Yuanshu Prefect had indeed cultivated a terrifying Dark Prison, and yet Luo Feng's body-refining techniques were a match, resistant even when bound. Each of them had glimpsed the other's limits. Tonight, in debating with Luo He, I've truly seen the might of a chaotic realm transcendent from the body cultivation lineage, Yuanshu Prefect said, raising his cup. Cheers, Luo Feng replied, raising his own. The sparring had left the main hall awed. The strength on display transcended the chaos realm, approaching the realm of god-kings, enough that even a small release of power could obliterate an ordinary observer. The banquet broke up in a friendly atmosphere, and word of the confrontation spread quickly throughout Chu capital. Chapter 129, The Emperor Takes a Disciple, Part 1. A woman in green stood atop the tower and looked out over the endless expanse of Chu capital. Is it worth coming here to cultivate? She wondered silently. Back in the small border town, there had been only a few dozen eternal true gods in total, and with her strength she had been among the strongest. Life there had been comfortable and safe, but in a small town, she could never obtain the great inheritances needed to hope for a breakthrough to the Chaos Realm. Arriving in Chu capital had changed everything. She had quickly secured an inheritance that suited her, received abundant resources, and with cultivation she had reached the pinnacle of an eternal true god. With those inheritances and resources, she had learned several Chaos Realm techniques and actually saw a glimmer of hope for breaking through. The opportunity had arrived, and with it, trouble. If not for the help of her friend Chu Lei Ho, she thought, I might be wishing for death by now. But Chu Lei Ho, though a third-rank marquis of the royal family, held no real power. The woman in green had been cautious in Chu capital. She'd built the Qianyu Tower, using her musical illusions to attract patrons and even some influential admirers. She had paid the price to obtain those inheritances and resources and had been careful not to overstep, not even daring to control the minds of her distinguished guests. Yet despite all her caution, trouble still found her. The factions in Chu capital were tangled and ruthless. Even among the first-rank marquises of the imperial clan, rivalries were fierce. As just an eternal true god, she had been pulled into a dark vortex she could not fully control. A pair of figures approached the tower. A man in black led a plain, honest-looking servant. Luo He, great saint, she thought, recognizing him instantly. Her heart leapt with relief and a surge of hope. She hurried down to greet him. Inside the main hall of Qianyu Tower, Luo Feng sat calmly, Morosa eating and drinking at his side. He was used to his master's fondness for music. Morosa, however, had no real interest in it. At the Dao discussion banquet, there had been many performers, but it hadn't been the place for a true seven emotions heart-refining method performance. Before coming, Luo Feng had gathered information. Of the three most accomplished musical illusionists at the banquet, the woman, Yu Yi, from a small border town in the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, had been the one now embroiled in trouble related to Deputy General Shui Qi of Chu capital. In Chu capital, Luo Feng knew you couldn't simply avoid trouble by wishing it away. When he first arrived, he had deliberately secluded himself to stay out of conflict, yet still drew the attention and hostility of figures like Lord Chuyuan and Chuji Marquis. Only by becoming a Chaos Realm transcendent, he thought, could one truly be detached. He had chosen Yu Yi to help at the banquet, partly because he intended to assist her. Yu Yi began to perform. Wisps of water flowed around her, and she used the streams as instruments. The sound that rose was like the voice of nature itself. Those harmonies seemed to align with the laws of the universe, stirring something deep within Luo Feng. He had already cultivated the seven emotions heart-refining method and allowed himself to sink wholly into the feeling. Emotions rose, and he found tears slipping down his cheeks. Yu Yoji, mid-performance, was surprised to see someone cry while listening. She dared not stop and continued, pouring everything into the musical illusion and watching Luo Feng carefully to avoid any mistakes. He listened on, moved beyond restraint. That's enough, Luo Feng said suddenly. She paused and stopped. Let's end it here for today, he added, rising and walking out. Cultivators lived long and experienced too much. Their feelings could grow numb. The seven emotions heart-refining method could stir the soul intensely, but overuse brought desensitization. Luo Feng transitioned from the seven emotions method to the great destruction heart-refining method, the latter being the real foundation of his tempering. He was accustomed to the pain of forging his spiritual will. The continuous tempering refueled the fighting spirit in his heart. Morosa, seeing his master stand, waved his paw and cleared away the food and wine. "How much is the fee?" he asked, looking at Yu. "For Luo He Great Saint to visit Qianyu Tower is an honor. No fee is required," she said quickly. Morosa frowned. "My master doesn't like to take advantage. Tell me the price." Reluctantly, she answered, 10 cosmic sand will do." Morosa flicked his paw, and 10 pieces of cosmic sand flew forward. He then followed Luo Feng and left. Yu accompanied them out, watching until the two figures disappeared into the sky. She stood there, excited and nervous. They had left so casually. It was more than she could have hoped for. Word of Luo Feng's visit traveled fast. Back at the Chuyu Marquise residence, Emperor Chuyu received the news. He watched Luo Feng's movements closely. With Luo Feng's current strength, he worried that other first-rank marquises might try to win him over. Just as much, he worried about offending him and spoiling their relationship. Friendships had to be maintained. When Luo Feng had been in Huyang City, he had loved listening to music and sometimes lost himself so completely that others took it as a sign of weakness. That same immersion at the Dao discussion banquet and the private visit to Qianyu Tower proved Luo Feng truly enjoyed Yu's performance. Emperor Chuyu smiled and sent an order through his attendant. "Take my marquis residence token to Qianyu Tower," he instructed. The attendant obeyed at once. A single visit from a Chaos Realm transcendent to Qianyu Tower was a spectacle worthy of attention. The story that Luo He Great Saint had enjoyed Yuji's music was a boon to her reputation. The attendant, accompanied by guards, presented the token to Yu on the Marquise's behalf. "Luo He Great Saint likes your musical illusion," he said. "This token is from our Chuyu Marquis residence. If you run into trouble, show it. You can also send a message to us." Holding the Marquis's token in her hand, Yu felt as if a great weight had lifted. In reality, even without the token, the mere fact that a Chaos Realm transcendent had visited her would have made Deputy General Shui Qi think twice. Luo Feng's days in Chu capital passed peacefully. Once he reached the peak of the primal Chaos Realm, some forces had still tried to provoke him. But after he became a Chaos Realm transcendent, everyone sought to befriend him, even the first-rank marquises. Of the 7 first-rank marquises of the Chu lineage, most impressed him. Only Lord Chuan behaved strangely. Lord Chuan avoided meeting Luo Feng entirely. Luo Feng suspected the cause lay in Chuan's cultivation path. He had the Thunder Ancient Country royal bloodline and drew on the Hunyuan bloodline, a combination that made his behavior extreme. One day, while Luo Feng was cultivating peacefully in his quiet room, a message came. "Prepare at once. The old ancestor's personal guards have arrived." Luo Feng opened his eyes. The old ancestor referred to Di Chu, one of the 13 emperors of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom. The emperor's personal guard had come. What were they here for? Emperor Chuyu had speculated that the old ancestor might be taking a disciple. Luo Feng left seclusion and readied himself. Morosa, sensing his master's emergence, hurried to his side. "An esteemed guest is coming," Luo Feng said. After a short while, 9 figures appeared in the sky. One of them was Emperor Chuyu. The other 8 wore the armor of the emperor's personal guards, though each suit was uniquely styled. At their head stood a figure like black water, clad in black armor inlaid with blood-red secret patterns. "The old ancestor has 3 personal guard generals," Emperor Chuyu explained. "This one is the Xuanjiao general." Xuanjiao general was hulking, and a slow, black, water-like flow moved within his armor. His eyes, formed of the same black current, were utterly lifeless. Simply meeting his gaze felt suffocating, as if the world itself quieted into a deadly silence. According to rumors, Di Chu's 3 personal guard generals were not normal cultivators, but mysterious, other kinds of existences. Standing before Xuanjiao General, Luo Feng felt a vast chasm between them. "Luo He," Xuanjiao General said, his tone surprisingly measured. "The Emperor wishes to take you as his disciple. If you agree, follow me to Emperor Chu Palace. If you refuse, I will return and report." Chapter 130, The Emperor Accepts a Disciple, Part 2. Luo Feng stood inside the cave dwelling, looked up at General Xuanjiao hovering in the sky, and answered without hesitation, It would be my great fortune to be accepted as the emperor's disciple. I gladly accept. He had expected this possibility and had thought it through. Among the 13 emperors of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, Di Chu possessed terrifying power. In the sparse records of his actions, he had swept aside ancient foes, he kept a low profile, avoided scandal, and devoted himself to cultivation. Luo Feng was willing to become his disciple. With a master's guidance, he could avoid many detours. Good. Come with me. General Xuanjiao finally smiled. With a sweep of his hand, an invisible ripple wrapped around Luo Feng, and they shot toward Emperor Chu's palace. Luo He, congratulations. Chu Yu offered his congratulations during the flight. It's thanks to you for bringing me to Chu capital. Luo Feng replied gratefully. Haha, with your strength, Luo He, you would have risen quickly even without me. Chu Yu chuckled. Soon they arrived at the palace. You may withdraw. I will take Luo He to see the emperor, General Xuanjiao said. Yes. The guards fell back. Chu Yu paused at the entrance with a faint smile and did not follow. Luo Feng entered the palace with General Xuanjiao, stepping into a place that seemed to merge with primordial darkness. They entered an ancient hall. At its center, a burly figure sat cross-legged, like the fulcrum of the limitless world. It felt as if the world could perish and he would remain, undying. His breath carried a force that surpassed the very might of the world. When he looked at Luo Feng felt as if he stood before the life-origin great path itself. This had to be Di Chu, one of the 13 emperors. Emperor. General Xuanjiao bowed. Luo He has been brought. The emperor inclined his head slightly. General Xuanjiao withdrew, leaving only Luo Feng and Di Chu in the hall. Luo He. Di Chu smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. I have recently studied your background. You are from the primordial universe? Surprised, Luo Feng bowed and did not hide anything. Yes, I am from the primordial universe. Di Chu nodded approvingly. Beings from the primordial universe are notoriously weak. It is very difficult to rise from that weakness to become a true god. That you reach the stage of chaotic realm transcendent is impressive. Don't be nervous, Di Chu said. Almost all of today's cultivators trace their ancestry to the primordial universe. They came to the origin continent and, over limitless years, multiplied into the many lives that exist now. The natives of the origin continent are almost all in the east extremity domain. Luo Feng already knew this. Let me ask again, are you a reincarnated cultivator? Di Chu asked. Even with Yanfeng's advanced methods, they could not break the supreme pattern's rules. No, Luo Feng shook his head. Di Chu's expression remained calm. Among the 13 emperors, I have accepted the fewest disciples, only 2 so far, he said. When I accept disciples, I value talent first and temperament compatibility second. Your talent is good, and I like your temper. That is why I decided to accept you. Before you become my disciple, think carefully. Di Chu's tone grew serious. Becoming a disciple is a great karmic bond. The master-disciple relationship is no less than blood relations. A master chooses a disciple, and a disciple chooses a master. Consider it well. Once you become my disciple, it will be impossible for other top existences on the origin continent to accept you. Luo Feng understood the weight of such a bond. Among the pinnacle existences of the origin continent, how many would take a liking to him? He also had principles. He would not serve someone who'd committed monstrous crimes. He had already made up his mind. I have thought it through. Luo Feng knelt and bowed all the way, forehead touching the floor. Disciple Luo Feng greets master. Luo Feng? Di Chu looked surprised. Luo Feng is your original name? I used the name Luo He to avoid karmic complications, but since I'm becoming your disciple, I won't hide my original name. Luo Feng answered. Di Chu laughed, a warm sound. Good, good. From today on, Luo Feng, you are my 3rd personal disciple. Master, do you wish to help resolve the karma tied to my name? Di Chu asked. No need. I will resolve it myself. Luo Feng answered. Di Chu nodded with satisfaction. Since you are willing to resolve it yourself, I will keep your original name secret for you. He was pleased that his disciple wanted to face his own problems. Since you are my disciple now, I have prepared 3 gifts for you. He handed over the first gift verbally. The first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form, and the first volume of the secret technique of 72 cuts, those you chose. Once you master them, you may obtain the subsequent inheritances freely. However, the inheritance levels I can bestow freely will not exceed the God King Ultimate Realm. Luo Feng's eyes widened. Everything in those two inheritances up to the God King Ultimate Realm would be free. The versions he currently had were God King First Realm level, each valued at roughly 100,000 contribution points. Advancing to God King Second Realm would cost around 3 million points. God King Third Realm, Ultimate Realm, would require an order of magnitude more, tens or hundreds of millions. For two inheritances, the total value could reach around 200 million contribution points. As a personal disciple, he would be spared that cost if his realm met the requirements. The second gift. Dichu produced a small stone box and opened it. 10 pale red fruits lay inside. Their fragrance alone made Luo Feng feel his soul nourished and his thinking quicken several-fold. These are Hunyuan crystal spirit fruits, Dichu explained. The ancestor once bestowed them on me. They're useless to me now, so I give them to you. They were grown from a tree cultivated with Hunyuan crystal jade and have miraculous effects on the soul. Consuming one makes you more attuned to the supreme rules and greatly improves comprehension. They are not products of the source world and are extremely rare. They can't be bought with contribution points. Use them sparingly. I suggest you consume 5 at the Chaos Realm level and save the remaining 5 for the God King First Realm. Luo Feng felt the care in his master's advice. Yes, master, he said. Dichu studied him for a moment. What is your most used weapon? Luo Feng produced the Blood Shadow Blade. This. Dichu inspected it. A blade embryo at God King level? He thought briefly, then produced a ball of iridescent soil. With a casual toss, it landed on the blade. The Blood Shadow Blade, as if ravenous, absorbed it in a blink. Originally, your blade embryo would have capped at God King First Realm level, Dichu said. Now its potential is much greater. With this, the blade could potentially reach God King Ultimate Realm level. I provided the main material. The auxiliary materials and, most importantly, your personal nurturing are up to you. Nurturing a blade depends above all on the holder. A stream of light then settled over Luo Feng, a secret technique for nurturing weapons. Dichu added, there is a decree from the ancestor. Even personal disciples must accumulate some contribution points through their own efforts. You have already done so much for me, master, Luo Feng said, grateful. Each of these gifts was immensely valuable. I am not good at guiding disciples. Dichu admitted, I am not proficient in the Life Origin Great Path. That will be up to you. The Destruction Origin Great Path happens to be my specialty. If you run into difficulties there, come to me. Disciple understands, Luo Feng bowed. Any questions now? Dichu asked. Not at the moment. Luo Feng shook his head. His accumulation in the Destruction Origin Great Path was still low, not yet reaching peak Chaos Realm standards. He was still in rapid growth and would consult when he hit a real bottleneck. Good, Dichu smiled. As my personal disciple, you will have many special tasks. You may choose them first, then they will be allocated to the first-rank marquises of the royal family. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Go cultivate well and become a God King soon. None of my disciples are God Kings yet. Dichu sighed. I will strive, master. Luo Feng bowed. Disciple takes his leave. He left the great hall and stood for a moment in the primordial darkness outside, excitement buzzing through him. The 10 Hunyuan crystal spirit fruits had already shown their nourishing power in scent alone. If he consumed them, the effect would be extraordinary. Since arriving on the Origin continent, this was the rarest treasure he had encountered. He couldn't wait to try one. Inside the hall, Dichu watched him go. My third personal disciple, he murmured, shaking his head. It's a pity my abilities are limited and I cannot guide their cultivation thoroughly. Like Di Qing among the 13 emperors, who by virtue of his realm could quickly diagnose disciples' problems across different paths and advise useful methods, Dichu lacked that breadth. All he could do was provide precious resources. The rest depended on the disciples themselves. What good is accepting disciples? Dichu muttered as he looked out at the limitless world beyond the hall. This source world will one day end. How many will survive? Even the ancestor moves forward into the darkness. Di Qing has already taken that path and may assist the ancestor in the future. The rest of us are strong on the origin continent, but if we leave this source world, who are we? My disciples may not even have the qualifications to leave. He sighed and closed his eyes. Cherish the fate you share with them in this source world. Then he sank into seclusion and began to cultivate. Luo Feng left the Emperor Chu palace and returned to his cave dwelling. Morosa was already there to greet him. Master, Luo Feng smiled. I have acknowledged Di Chu as my master. Morosa visibly brightened. He had been almost certain before the Xuanjiao general came to invite Luo Feng, but he had still worried that something unexpected might happen. As a world beast, he feared implicating his master. I'm going into seclusion for a while. Don't disturb me unless it's important, Luo Feng instructed. He planned to consume a Hunyuan crystal spirit fruit and needed to focus entirely on cultivation. Aside from his master Di Chu, he would cut off contact with the outside world, though Morosa could still reach him telepathically. During his seclusion, origin ancestor Mo Yu Qingyan and Emperor Chu Yu would not be able to contact him for the time being. Don't worry, master, Morosa replied. Luo Feng also sent messages to origin ancestor and the others, then headed straight to the quiet room. Morosa was ecstatic. As a world beast on the origin continent, he'd always felt vulnerable. Apart from the world beast in Tianmu country, all other world beasts in history had died. With Di Chu behind his master, Morosa thought his prospects would be much safer. With a few powerful Chaos Realm corpses to absorb, perhaps he could eventually become a god king. The corpse of Great Sacred Beiyu had already greatly boosted Morosa's strength, but the gap between Chaos Realm and God King required a qualitative change in the world inside him. The quiet room was one of the sections inside the Star Tower. Luo Feng sat before the light red fruit. Its faint, fruity aroma relaxed and delighted his soul. His thoughts accelerated several times over. He understood how rare and valuable this gift was. Yanfeng ancestor had bestowed it upon his master, Di Chu. With Di Chu standing at the peak of the origin continent and Yanfeng ancestor behind him, this gave access to vast knowledge, the past of the origin continent, glimpses of the future, truths about the source world, and even beyond. But Luo Feng did not think so far ahead. He wanted to take one step at a time. First reach the peak of the origin continent, repay his master's kindness, and help Zuo Shanqi avenge himself. Finally getting top-tier resources, Luo Feng thought. Before coming to Chu capital, he had been too poor to obtain such treasures or a suitable God King level inheritance. Now he possessed 2 inheritances, 8 tribulation lifeform and secret technique of cutting 72 slashes, both surpassing the God King ultimate realm in origin, and he had access to cultivation aids used by royal elites and God King direct disciples. This Hunyuan crystal spirit fruit was the rarest of them all. He took a bite. The pulp was slightly tough, but his perfect divine body made quick work of it. The fruit's energy decomposed within him and spread into his soul. Immediately, Luo Feng felt different. Even with a powerful soul and the mental will of the God King's second realm, his thought speed leapt more than 20-fold. His soul felt more ethereal. Insights came at a blinding pace. Concepts that had been vague now snapped into focus. He concentrated on the inheritance. In the core region of the primordial universe's origin land, his divine avatar faced the vast life origin great path. Because of the fruit, Luo Feng could perceive the full structure of the path. At first glance, it resembled a winding giant dragon with 24 claws, but closer inspection revealed far more. The life origin great path contained 6 major branches, each deep and unfathomable. Their perfect combination made the whole far more complex. It was like the 10 basic laws. Any one could be comprehended by true gods or below, but merging the 10 into chaos laws was only possible for law lineage chaos realm practitioners. A similar principle applied here. Perfecting a single branch of the life origin great path equated to reaching the God King first realm. Comprehending all 6 to perfection was not impossible in theory, but merging them into one complete whole, forming a fully realized life origin great path, was an exponentially greater difficulty. Only that complete merger could be called the God King ultimate realm. Now Luo Feng understood the scale of the gap between God King first realm and God King ultimate realm, and why many powerful peak chaos realm experts on the origin continent could not become god kings despite consuming top-tier resources. Comprehension is a steady accumulation. Merging into one is a qualitative transformation. With the fruit's aid, he made steady progress. As he studied the first tribulation of 8 tribulation lifeform and the first volume of Secret Technique of Cutting 72 Slashes, he also called on Morosa to demonstrate the Destruction Origin Great Path. The Destruction Path's advances were slower because they relied on Morosa's demonstrations. Time passed, and the fruit's effects eventually faded. Luo Feng felt his soul grow heavier and his thought speed slow. He'd become used to the increased speed, so the return felt awkward. It lasted a little over 1 epoch, he realized, astonished. And I improved this much? Every one of the 12 major branches, 6 from life origin and 6 from destruction origin, had made progress. The first tribulation of 8 tribulation life forms specifies 3 lineages: life body, life source, and life spirituality. The first volume of Secret Technique of Cutting 72 Slashes records the sky-splitting lineage and the dark sky lineage. These 5 lineages, with inheritance help, advanced faster. The sky-splitting and dark sky lineages of the Destruction Origin Great Path have both reached top-tier Chaos Realm, he noted. The life body and life source lineages of the Life Origin Great Path have also reached top-tier Chaos Realm. And the life spirituality lineage has reached the peak Chaos Realm. Luo Feng was amazed. Even with strong inheritances, a normal Chaos Realm talent might require tens of thousands of epochs to hit peak Chaos Realm. This first fruit had done the work of many epochs, most of all by increasing comprehension. He realized the Hunyuan Crystal Spirit Fruit was best saved for bottlenecks. He had 10 fruits in total. By Dichu's instructions, he should use 5 while in the Chaos Realm and reserve 5 for after he reached the God King First Realm. From the first fruit's effect, he understood the strategy: reach peak Chaos Realm through steady personal accumulation, then apply a fruit at the critical moment for the breakthrough. He formulated the plan clearly. When all 5 major branches, the 3 from 8 Tribulation Lifeform and the 2 from Secret Technique, had reached peak Chaos Realm on their own, he would consume the second fruit to push further. That was the only sensible way to use such a rare treasure. He left the quiet room. Outside, plants and trees flourished as if infused with boundless vitality. Flowers bloomed with renewed life. If I advance further, I could probably imbue ordinary plants with sentience, he thought. Morosa, origin ancestor, and Mo Yu Qingyan rushed over. Luo Feng had been secluded too long. They all noticed the surrounding breath of life. Mo Yu Qingyan felt something different about his master, but could not place it. Morosa, with his high realm, sensed Luo Feng's life aura had grown terrifyingly stronger, stronger even than Morosa's own as a world beast. He felt a bit alarmed. Origin Ancestor observed silently. Luo Feng's aura was now so potent, it even affected the operation of the illusory universe within him. The current Luo Feng is much stronger than before his seclusion, Origin Ancestor thought. Master, are you about to become a god king? Morosa could not help asking. Still far from it, Luo Feng laughed. I've been secluded so long I'm starving. Let's go. Dine at Yuju Fang's. Everyone brightened. Yuju Fang, the legendary Chaos Realm chef of Chu Capital, cooked as if his culinary art were a path of cultivation. His dishes were as coveted as rare treasures, and it wasn't easy to get him to cook. Only God Kings and Chaotic Realm Transcendence normally merited his full attention. Origin Ancestor, Mo Yu Qingyan, and Morosa all eagerly followed. Chapter 132, Sky High Bounty. For more than a cycle, Luo Feng had focused on cultivation after consuming the Hunyuan Crystal Spirit Fruit. Now that its effects had faded, he moved with more leisure, sampling delicacies at Yuju Fang and visiting Qianyu Tower to listen to musical illusions refined with the 7 Emotions heart-refining method. Word spread through the factions in Chu Capital that Great Saint Luo He had been going out often. One day, Luo Feng arrived alone at the Yanfeng Guild's Dark Hall in Chu Capital. Great Saint Luo He. The Dark Hall Master herself greeted him. She was an unassuming woman in golden robes. Her aura was restrained, but she was in fact a peak primal Chaos Realm existence and held the rare Marcus title, Sinhuo. In Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, Marcus titles were almost exclusively for imperial family members. This is your first visit to our Dark Hall since you arrived in Chu Capital. Hallmaster Shinhuo smiled. Please, have a seat. They sat facing each other as a servant brought fine wine and fruit. Hallmaster Shinhuo, Luo Feng said, savoring the wine, I'm here to sell some treasures. Oh, Shinhuo smiled. As a direct disciple of an emperor, Great Saint Luo Hei will of course receive our best treatment. We'll acquire them at the highest price. For ordinary sellers, the Dark Hall always undercut prices to secure profit. But the Yanfeng Guild was backed by a network of emperors and god kings. A disciple of an emperor received special consideration. Luo Feng laid out the spoils from his last 1-against-5 battle: 3 scrolls of formidable formation diagrams, some broken golden hoops, 3 black nails, and a long staff weapon. He even produced Lord Lu Yin's blade and Great Sacred Beiyu's double-edged axe. Shinhuo's lips curved when she saw the staff. She recognized it instantly. This was Lord Chuyuan's God King weapon, and its value was substantial. Her expression shifted when she saw the axe. Great Sacred Beiyu's death was still shrouded in mystery. Seeing Beiyu's weapon here made the implication clear. It seems Great Saint Luo He was the one who killed Great Sacred Beiyu. The Dark Hall's transactions were recorded and kept strictly confidential. Even as Chu Capital's branch master, Shinhuo knew leakage was severely punished. The Yanfeng Guild's reach across the origin continent owed much to those strict rules. An invisible appraisal light covered the items and began the valuation. Great Saint Luo He is remarkable, Shinhuo said. Great Sacred Beiyu had top-tier Chaos Realm strength and mastery of the Life Origin Great Path. His life preservation abilities were supreme, yet he still fell to you. Luo Feng only smiled. We never disclose customer transactions, Shinhuo said, scanning the goods. These 3 formation diagrams are priceless. We can purchase them for 26 billion cosmic sand. The original owner of the diagrams, Celestial Great Saint Tianyu, had desperately wanted them, but after that battle, he'd been impoverished and couldn't afford the price. These golden hoops are broken, Shinhuo continued. Repair costs are high, so we can only offer 30% 9 billion cosmic sand. Luo Feng winced inwardly. He should have held back. The hoops had shattered when he'd unleashed his power. These 3 black nails are 9 billion as well. The remaining blade and the double-edged axe together are 9 billion. Total, 53 billion cosmic sand, Shinhuo concluded. Luo Feng nodded. He'd only brought out the major items. Many lesser fragments remained unpresented. So, the most important item, Shinhuo said, pointing to the staff, is Lord Chuyuan's God King weapon. It's a God King First Realm weapon, not difficult to refine. Our Dark Hall's purchase price is a minimum of 50 billion cosmic sand. Luo Feng knew values varied among God King First Realm items. Armor and blades or staves priced differently, and palace-type treasures like star towers were even more valuable. They could hide someone in dire moments. Luo Feng's physical body, however, was far stronger than any need to hide. God Kings and other buyers may bid on it, Shinhuo said. I recommend consigning it through the Yanfeng Guild Dark Hall. With your status, we'll charge only the lowest 0.5% consignment fee. Starting bid would be 60 billion cosmic sand. You'll likely net more than a straight sale. Consign it, Luo Feng decided. The shortest consignment period is 1 day, the longest, 1 cycle, Shinhuo added. Great Saint Luo Hei, how long would you like? 10,000 days will do, Luo Feng replied. A cycle on the origin continent was 1 billion days. Such a long term was unnecessary. Shinhuo smiled. We'll notify all our key clients. There weren't many who could afford a God King weapon, but the news spread across the origin continent. The staff was once Lord Chuyuan's. In Chu Capital, it caused a stir. Lord Chuyuan crushed his wine cup in his hand when he heard of the consignment. This Luo Hei, he seethed, but their last fight had left him beaten and in weak condition. He promptly contacted his trusted brother, Chuji Marquise. Chuyuan, you want me because of your weapon? Chuji knew his brother's temper. It's my weapon, Lord Chuyuan snarled. If he consigns it publicly, I must buy it back. It'd be a disgrace for my weapon to fall to another. All right, I'll help, Chuji replied. I can only gather 50 billion myself, Chuyuan said. I may need to borrow when the bidding starts. Understood, Chuji answered. Even first-rank marquises of the imperial family needed vast resources to maintain cultivation. Chuyuan had done everything to raise 50 billion cosmic sand. Beyond that, he would have to borrow. Time passed. Chaos crystals and stones condensed naturally in the chaos ruins, but cosmic sand had to be cultivated and refined by god kings. Each grain contained condensed pure power and a nascent universe. Even god kings expended effort to refine it. Cosmic sand was used to purify eternal true god bloodlines, form arrays, cultivate rare treasures, or to smash and examine the basic Great Path composition it contained. Each piece held at least a full branch of the Great Path, so its value remained high. Even god kings bought cosmic sand to cultivate unfamiliar path branches. The consignment period blinked past. Luo Feng returned to the dark hall. Xinhuo greeted him with bright eyes. Great Saint Luo He, the staff sold for 70 billion cosmic sand. After our 0.5% fee, that nets 66.5 billion cosmic sand. Luo Feng was satisfied. Consigning the weapon had paid off. Would you like the cosmic sand in physical form or kept on deposit with the Yanfeng Guild? Xinhuo asked. Store it temporarily, Luo Feng said. By the way, I need perfect level Chaos Layer biological material, only a piece larger than 1/1,000,000th of a body. I'll pay 10 billion cosmic sand per sample. Perfect Chaos Layer biological material was extremely rare. Luo Feng chose the simplest method, a sky-high bounty. An ordinary God King weapon generally started at 50 billion cosmic sand. He was offering 10 billion for a tiny tissue sample. He expected many to be tempted. I've already obtained material from a golden-feathered divine bird, Luo Feng added. I only need 1 sample per species, limited to 10 species of perfect Chaos Layer creatures. Is there a deadline? Xinhuo asked. No, the bounty ends once 10 different samples are collected, he replied. The handling fee is 0.5%, Xinhuo said. That's fine, Luo Feng said. In the past cycle, his life spirituality lineage had reached peak primal chaos realm. His life body and life origin lineages had climbed to top-tier chaos realm. Still, studying the golden feather divine bird's feathers exposed confusions in his comprehension of the Trinity. The golden feather divine bird, ordinary in intelligence and using only chaos realm threshold techniques, could have primal chaos realm peak strength. That hinted at the terrifying potential of perfect Chaos Layer creatures when their attributes were pushed to the limit. If his Silver River transformation method could be elevated to the perfect Chaos Layer level and reach its perfect limit, then even a single Silver River Blade Light using a simple move could possess primal Chaos Realm peak power. Imagine tens of thousands of such Blade Lights sweeping across. Chaotic Realm Transcendence and low-level God Kings could have their divine bodies shredded. Elevating a transformation method to the perfect Chaos Layer level would itself be a use of the life origin Great Path. Luo Feng saw the path and intended to follow it. The Yanfeng Guild spread word of the 10 billion cosmic sand bounty. The offer tempted many. Even Chaotic Realm Transcendence had to work hard to amass 10 billion cosmic sand. Meanwhile, in Myriad World's country, within a created realm that housed many special creatures, God King-level exotic beasts, perfect Chaos Layer creatures, and specially cultivated terrors, the bounty caused commotion. Do they need body material? Asked a majestic rock-bodied creature and a silver-hoofed beast, glancing at their caretaker. The caretaker, a man in yellow robes, chuckled. Only a bit, more than 1/1,000,000th of your body. Once sold, the sample cannot be actively annihilated. So they want to study our tissue, the beast said. Perfect Chaos Layer creatures already had high intelligence and could perform some Chaos Realm threshold techniques. If you agree, I'll send blood spirit wine every cycle for the next 10,000 cycles, the caretaker offered. The beasts could refuse. If they did, the materials would be annihilated at once. 2 portions of blood spirit wine. The silver-hoofed beast lifted 2 hoof tips. 3 portions, the rock creature countered, eyeing its companion. Both had been scooped up by the Lord of Myriad Worlds long ago from the Chaos Layer and kept here ever since. They cared little for the tissue. What mattered was good food and drink. 1 portion per cycle is the maximum I can promise, the caretaker admitted. After difficult negotiations, the beasts agreed to sell a tiny portion of their bodies for 1.5 portions of blood spirit wine per cycle, supplied continuously for 10,000 cycles. Thanks to recent generous patrons, Cynthia Baby, Wuyo is the realm of hope, Butterfly Pea Flower, You Are My Despicable, Looking to the End of the World and Thinking of Ya, Storyteller Azong, Sutsui Ayame, Carl King. Chapter 133, Contributions in Chu Capital. In the quiet room of Luo Feng's cave dwelling deep within a layer of the Star Tower, he examined the three perfect Chaos Layer biological specimens before him. A giant slab of rock, 3 silver scales, and a broken, massive branch. Perfect Chaos Layer materials are truly hard to come by, he murmured. 10 billion cosmic sand apiece, and after all this time, I've only managed 3. It made sense when he thought about it. Perfect Chaos Layer creatures were the prey of the peak existences on the Origin continent. Those towering beings didn't care about 10 billion cosmic sand. Only their direct disciples or children might be tempted by such materials. Luo Feng set the samples on the table and, with a precise motion, sliced off rock powder, flakes of scale, and bits of bark, then dissected them to study their fundamental structure. He found what he expected. The basic composition of the rock powder was a 3-in-1 form. Small gray particles carried secret chaos law patterns, each enclosing 2 other intertwined gray particles. All 3-in-1 forms, but each is subtly different, he thought. The golden feather divine bird's 3-in-1 form was nimble, the rock's was heavy and substantial. Those subtle differences determined the final, complete forms. As he studied, Luo Feng's grasp of the 3-in-1 form deepened. Even with his life-spirituality lineage at the primal chaos realm peak and his life-body lineage at the top of the chaos realm, the 3-in-1 form remained profoundly complex, like an exquisite palace of thought, not a real structure, but an illusory one where ideas converged. Thoughts crowded his mind. Could these perfect Chaos Layer materials be used for something special? He recalled a perfect Chaos Layer creature he had once studied, whose body hinted at deep mysteries of both the life origin Great Path and the material origin Great Path. He considered Luo He, the Chaos Realm Transcendent, who had recently been collecting such materials. Luo He's body refinement art resembled aspects of Chaos Layer creatures. Perhaps he cultivated both the life and material origin Great Paths for body refinement and used the destruction origin Great Path in his blade techniques. Luo Feng's deduction was accurate. He used the life origin Great Path to parse the creature's composition and then transform them directly with his formless and faceless ability. Without that, others would need material transmutation via the material origin Great Path. A Chaos Realm cultivator pursuing 3 origin Great Paths, he was indeed audacious. Elsewhere, intelligence flowed among ancient existences who watched the origin continent. Snow Realm Ancestor had exchanged everything to obtain the corpse of a Camel Mountain beast, a creature cultivated by Ancestor Yan Feng with a thin Hunyuan bloodline. Snow Realm Ancestor practiced the blood drop scripture and had comprehended all 6 branches of the life origin Great Path, reaching the blood drop as boundary realm, but he could not yet break into the God King's second realm. He sought the Hunyuan bloodline to attempt that breakthrough. Another report told of the Snow Demon God King of Thunder, ancient country, losing control and devouring the true body of the Thunder Sand God King, who had suffered the loss of his true body and a God King ultimate realm weapon, grievous damages that would not be forgiven. These ancient watchers silently observed the continent. Any powerful treasure or opportunity drew their attention, and they might seize it. But Luo Feng's modest gathering of Chaos Layer fragments in Chu Capital was beneath most of their notice. The ancient ones did not dare provoke Di Chu there. Time passed quickly when one focused on cultivation. Besides training, Luo Feng took occasional missions to earn contributions, bounty jobs, town defender contracts, and treasure hunting missions. The last 2 were time-consuming. Bounty missions suited him best thanks to his Liyuan art. He rarely courted attention and only sporadically took bounties. This time, the target was a top-tier Chaos Realm expert called Great Sacred He Wu, with a reward of 100,000 contributions. Great Sacred He Wu cultivated the Karma Origin Grand Dao. Using his escape and transformation art, Luo Feng entered He Wu's territory, a remote region wreathed in black mist and dotted with hundreds of ordinary cities. Under that pall, each city resembled an island. At the gate of one such city, formations inspected every returning cultivator. They obeyed the checks, but when one man was scanned, a bloody mark bloomed on his skin. "When did I get contaminated?" he cried, panic in his voice, and then his body dissolved into nothing. onlookers turned pale. Anyone with that mark must undergo a second inspection. We must be sure, an official ordered, and even the guards in hiding were forced to be inspected. If the contamination spread, it could doom the whole city. Luo Feng watched from above. Great Sacred Haiwu unleashed a karma tribulation that kept the cultivators under constant fear. The karma marks transmitted and amplified the panic, and the deeper the entanglement, the more he could harvest. When the knot became too deep, Haiwu would unleash a catastrophe and destroy everyone in a city, erasing the karma at the cost of countless lives. That was how he cultivated the karma origin Grand Dao, feeding on the karma of others. Luo Feng located Haiwu's true body, a smiling merchant in one of the cities, trading with customers as if he were ordinary. The merchant looked up and saw Luo Feng. In an instant, the observer became a magnificent star to his mind, an overwhelming, crushing vision. Luo Feng struck with the Li Yuan art, his will and mind like a blade. Haiwu's mind and will disintegrated. There was no time to enact an escape or reincarnation method. The merchant collapsed as if struck by lightning, still frozen in a smile. With a single blow, Haiwu was wholly extinguished. The karma tribulation that had plagued hundreds of cities ended immediately. Luo Feng gathered Haiwu's corpse with a gesture and prepared to leave. Morosa finally has food again, he murmured as he departed. The total disappearance of Great Sacred Haiwu drew some attention among the continent's forces. The complete death of a top-tier Chaos Realm cultivator was rare. God King First Realm cultivators usually could not eradicate such beings entirely. Two complete deaths within a few eras, Great Sacred Beiyu had fallen earlier, led to speculation. Had a powerful God King been cleansing great sinners? The disturbance was not massive, only 2 killed, but those paying attention took note. Luo Feng returned to the Emperor Chu Palace Legacy Hall to claim his 100,000 contributions. As a direct disciple of the Emperor, his authority to claim contributions now exceeded that of a first-rank Marquess of the imperial family. In the Legacy Hall, he requested to view the Robbery Beast diagram. His will and mind could now reach the God King level from the Chaos Realm bottleneck, and the Robbery Beast diagram could be useful. The Artifact Spirit Elder regarded him gravely. A complete Robbery Beast diagram, even viewing its image, requires a God King level will just to stay conscious, the Elder warned. You should wait until your mind and will reach the God King's second realm. At a mere God King threshold, you'll barely remain conscious and won't retain much of the image. Are you certain? Luo Feng nodded. I want to view it. The Elder prepared the viewing. Luo Feng steadied himself and stared into the chaotic expanse the Elder summoned. Slowly, from the void, a vaguely massive figure began to take form. Chapter 134, Emperor Chu's Summons. Its body was like a vast world, glowing all over with a fiery red light. Flames licked its skin. It bore 8 pairs of enormous wings and 4 massive hooves that seemed to prop up everything. A single giant eye glared coldly in Luo Feng's direction. Every movement reverberated, chains extended from the void, snaking through its flesh, soul, and every part of its being, binding it so tightly it could scarcely struggle. Its stare was filled with murderous intent. On its body, Luo Feng even saw traces of past time, the record of its growth from a weak, inconspicuous calamity beast into this monstrous form, exactly the kind of process depicted in the 3000 Void Tribulation Beast diagram. But the traces he saw now were far more detailed and oppressively real than any painting in that diagram. This is an image of a powerful being observing the calamity beast, Luo Feng realized. That being could see the beast's past traces in time and recorded the observation. If a weak mind viewed the calamity beast directly, it would likely be annihilated. To glimpse a calamity beast's past like this, with a single look, was something Luo Feng had never imagined. Even the emperors of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom could only observe images and paint one robbery beast diagram after another. A robbery beast diagram captured only part of a real calamity beast. And yet, this calamity beast was bound. Chains from the void held it fast, making escape all but impossible. My God King's second realm can only observe this image, Luo Feng thought in amazement. The calamity beast itself must be beyond the God King ultimate realm, and even such an existence is bound. As he watched, Luo Feng concluded the force that had restrained the beast must be on the cultivator side, After all, images like this circulated in the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, but judging by the Calamity Beast's growth trajectory, it likely was a terrifying life from beyond the cage rather than a cultivator. Luo Feng felt both awe and humility. From its growth traces, he admired the beast's resolve, yet there existed a power greater than even that, one capable of imprisoning it. He reminded himself to always keep reverence. If a creature far above the God King ultimate realm could be chained, then he, still only a small chaos realm, had no room for arrogance. He memorized the image carefully. It had cost 100,000 merit points to view once, and the Inheritance Hall had granted ample time. Unlike the paintings of the original 3000 Void Tribulation Beast diagram, this was a space-time image, far more vivid and detailed. Luo Feng immersed himself, studying every nuance. Only an immortal heart can endure endless tribulations, he thought. Watching the beast's life, he understood that it had been willing to abandon everything, even its own life, undergoing repeated nirvanic transformations until it reached this terrifying stage. But in doing so, it had also abandoned its former companions. It had devoured friends who once stood with it in hardship, defeating and consuming them one by one to grow stronger. On its path of advancement, it needed no comrades, only strength. And yet, in the end, one twist in space-time was enough to snatch it away. It was dragged into a prison world and bound by void chains, never to break free. Is this the Calamity Beast's ultimate fate? Luo Feng felt a pang of sorrow. Captured by a shift in space-time without even seeing the opponent? The lesson was blunt. Mental will could not replace raw power. Even a very strong will depended on strength. Liyuan art gave Luo Feng great advantage against many Chaos Realm foes whose wills were much weaker. But for ancient existences on the Origin continent, the gap in will techniques would narrow. Even the emperors of Yanfeng and the monarchs of Thunder Ancient Country were not known to kill god kings by will alone. Comprehending the Great Tao remained the true foundation. The image strengthened Luo Feng's resolve to pursue the Great Tao and reminded him there were no shortcuts. The help from Liyuan art would grow less decisive as he advanced. Time flowed on. Luo Feng threw himself into comprehension. 27 epochs passed as he lingered in the Chu capital's secret space within the primordial universe's origin land. His divine power avatar faced the complete life origin great path, able to see its 6 major branches at a glance. I've brought my life-body lineage to the primal chaos realm peak, he murmured, studying the life origin great path. I've gathered 7 perfect chaos layer biological materials, and yet I still can't grasp the 3-in-1 form. The first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form had recorded 3 major branches: life spirituality, life body, and life origin. Life spirituality and life body had both reached the primal chaos realm peak. They could not be improved further before becoming a god king. Luo Feng had been meditating on the 3-in-1 form for a long time with no breakthrough. Perhaps he would try taking a Hunyuan crystal spirit fruit sooner than planned. Originally, he intended to bring all 5 of his main comprehension branches to their peaks, then use the Hunyuan crystal spirit fruits to attempt a god king breakthrough. But only 2 branches had reached the primal chaos realm peak so far. As Master had advised, 5 Hunyuan crystal spirit fruits for a chaos realm breakthrough, 5 more for the first god king realm. To perfect transformation technique, taking 1 now might be worthwhile. Luo He, come to my palace, a voice suddenly called. Luo Feng's spiritual consciousness received a summons from his master, Di Chu. Master is actively summoning me for the first time in over 20 epochs? Luo Feng was surprised. His true body went straight to Emperor Chu Palace. Inside the palace, Di Chu sat cross-legged, majestic, but slightly frowning. The ancestor sent back a batch of resources for our clan, he mused. Ancestor Yanfeng had recently summoned the 13 emperors of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and bestowed a large allotment of materials, divided into 13 portions for the royal 13 bloodlines. As always, the ancestor favored his own clansmen. Guest elders had to earn merit to receive benefits, while resources for cultivating disciples came from the patron. These resources can go to the royal elites, Di Chu thought. My 3 direct disciples are close to me. The other 2 often come by and seek guidance, but my 3rd disciple, Luo Feng, he hasn't visited once in these 20-plus epochs. At that moment, Luo Feng entered and bowed respectfully. "Master," he said, "since you became my disciple, you haven't come to consult me in all these epochs," Dichu observed. "Do you have no confusions in your cultivation?" Luo Feng replied respectfully, "Master, I have questions about the life origin great path." Dichu's eyelids twitched. Life origin? He didn't truly understand that path. What about the destruction origin great path? "Are you progressing well there?" he asked. Destruction origin was his specialty. "For now, it's going smoothly," Luo Feng answered. Although the sky-splitting lineage and dark sky lineage, recorded in the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes, were only at the peak Chaos Realm level, his progress was restrained by not being able to directly confront the complete origin great path. Morosa, after all, was only at the Chaos Realm. Di Chu nodded and asked, "What specifically troubles you about the life origin great path?" Luo Feng produced a gray particle that split open into two fused yin-yang cores. "This is the basic particle form of a perfect Chaos Layer creature, the 3-in-1 form," he explained. "I have comprehended a lot, but I still can't grasp it." Dichu regarded it and felt a headache coming. He had been single-mindedly cultivating the destruction origin great path. He had dabbled in material origin, karma origin, and space origin to the level of an ordinary god king, but the life origin great path was truly alien to him. Still, he thought rapidly. The mind of an emperor raced. 3-in-1 form is rather superficial as body compositions go, Dichu said, then waved his hand. With a whoosh, the corpse of a golden scale armor insect appeared in the hall. "This is the remains of a Chaos Realm creature. Its body structure follows the 10 Directions world form, far more profound than the 3-in-1 form. With a form like this, it could contend with god kings across ranks. Study this more advanced 10 Directions world form. When you return to the simpler 3-in-1 form, you may finally grasp it." Luo Feng stared at the golden scale armor insect corpse, which radiated a powerful aura. "This corpse?" he asked. He had never heard of such a creature. "Ancestor Thunder specializes in researching diverse Hunyuan bloodlines. This is one of the special creatures he cultivated," Dichu said. "Take it back and study it. After you deepen your understanding, take the Hunyuan crystal spirit fruit. You might comprehend the 3-in-1 form in one go." "This disciple understands," Luo Feng said, immediately securing the corpse. Go on, Dichu waved him off. Luo Feng bowed and withdrew. Dichu smiled to himself. He had intended to distribute a batch of resources to his disciples. The golden scale armor insect corpse, worth 1,000,000 merit points, would serve as Luo Feng's share. Now that he had accepted a disciple, he could not treat him unfairly. Luo Feng left the Emperor Chu Palace and returned to his cave dwelling in the Star Tower to study the newly acquired corpse of the golden scale armor insect. The massive carcass sprawled across the level, and Luo Feng stared up at the colossal creature. "According to my master, the Thunder Ancestor devoted himself to experimenting with various Hunyuan bloodlines. This is one of the special creatures he cultivated," he murmured, examining it carefully. From the inheritances and resource records in the Inheritance Hall, Luo Feng already had a rough picture. The vast world governed by the supreme rule was like a cage. The origin continent and the 3,000 primordial universes lay within a complete cage. The space outside produced Hunyuan power and primordial origin materials. Creatures nurtured in that space carried Hunyuan bloodlines. Most of the high-ranking members of the Thunder, ancient country's royal family, cultivated by using Hunyuan bloodline techniques. This is a Chaos Realm being, yet it bears the 10 Directions world form, even more profound than the 3-in-1 form. Luo Feng extended a finger. A silver thread flashed from his fingertip into the golden scale armor insect's mouthpart and drew out a drop of golden blood. He began to dissect it. It's already dead, and the blood's still so stable. Luo Feng's fingers glowed with a cutting edge as he split the drop into particles. Every particle contains powerful spirituality, stronger than perfected Chaos Layer creatures. No wonder it could cross realms to contend with god kings. Snap. As a golden particle was cleaved, 9 smaller particles emerged inside it. They were grouped into 3 clusters, each cluster formed by 3 fused particles, and the 3 clusters maintained a fixed distance, slowly rotating around one another without ever touching. So this is the 10 Directions world form. Luo Feng said, intrigued. The life-body lineage's record of the 10 directions world form in the 8 tribulation life form inheritance had listed 7 categories, and this matched one of them. Seeing it directly was far more impactful than reading a description. One large particle contained 9 smaller ones. Every 3 merged into a 3-in-1 cluster, and the 3 clusters pursued each other in endless rotation. With his comprehension of the life-body lineage at the primal chaos realm peak, observing this form offered him new insights. Remarkable. He watched as he carefully separated the clusters, revealing countless materialized chaos secret runes as each 3-in-1 form disintegrated. 2 different kinds of 3-in-1 form interacting. They can even form a cyclical system. Luo Feng studied the profound mysteries hidden in the formation, and his understanding of the 3-in-1 form deepened. During his time in Chu capital, he had received top-tier inheritances and precious resources, and he had devoted himself to cultivation more than to the city's petty disputes. Meanwhile, in Chu capital, Chuji Marquise and Lord Chuan were drinking and chatting when a royal dispatch interrupted them. Both froze as they read the message. He heaven level? Lord Chuan's ugly face contorted in disbelief. Heaven level task? Chuji Marquise echoed. As first-rank marquises, the highest-level missions they normally accessed were king-level tasks. Occasionally, over tens of thousands of epochs, an Earth-level task would appear. Rarer still, perhaps once in hundreds of thousands of epochs or more, a heaven-level task would be issued. For a first-rank marquise, a heaven-level task was the pinnacle assignment they might encounter in a lifetime. It was addressed to the marquise personally. Guest cultivators could not accept it. There actually is a heaven-level task, they said to one another. Lord Chuyuan's eyes burned with avidity. If we rank highly, the resource rewards will be immense. Prepare thoroughly, Chuji Marquise agreed, excitement replacing his initial bewilderment. On this occasion, the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom's royal family had received a batch of exceptionally precious resources from the ancestral Yanfeng. By royal rules, the 13 God King Second Realm and the Emperors would each receive fixed allocations based on status. But the God King First Realm and the first-rank marquises would have to compete. The better the rank, the larger the share. In a mysterious palace inside an illusory world, ancient existences gathered and discussed plans. The Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom has obtained heaven-level resources. The God King First Realm and the first-rank marquises must compete. Allocation will be by ranking, one said. They'll need helpers for the competition. We can offer our assistance. If those first realms and first-rank marquises willingly share part of their haul with us, even the 13 emperors can't stop it. We deserve compensation for our help. Many ancient powers on the Origin continent had long coveted the 2 great ancient kingdoms and their vast reserves. Yanfeng Ancestor and Thunder Ancestor had acquired large quantities of resources. If they didn't need them themselves, they'd leave them to their clans. Compared to these royal lines, even the most talented elites from across the Origin continent often lacked the resources the royal families took for granted. Ultimate realm inheritances in the 2 great ancient kingdoms could cost at least 30 million merit points. Those tied to Hunyuan power could cost hundreds of millions. Many rare materials were simply not available for exchange. These ancient existences, though powerful, dared not openly seize these treasures. They could only look for acceptable ways to gain a share. Some were grateful to Yuan for giving rogue cultivators the same competitive opportunities as the royal family, otherwise they would be exploited further. After exchanging information, the group dispersed. Luo Feng emerged from seclusion when Emperor Chuyu arrived. Brother Chuyu, what's so urgent? Luo Feng asked with a smile. Normally a message would have sufficed, but this time Emperor Chuyu had insisted on meeting in person. Our Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom royal family has issued a heaven-level task. Did you know? Emperor Chuyu asked. Luo Feng was a little surprised. With his status, he kept tabs on major news on the Origin continent, and he understood the significance and rarity of a heaven-level task. He didn't yet know that his master, Di Chu, had already been called up when that vast resource shipment arrived. Perhaps only once in hundreds of thousands of epochs will a heaven-level task appear, Emperor Chuyu said anxiously. I only recently became a first-rank Marquis, and now I face a heaven-level task. Among the 7 first-rank Marquises of the Emperor Chu line, I'm the weakest. This competition worries me. The heaven-level task has 3 subtasks, Emperor Chu explained. The first 2 are individual tasks I must complete alone. Only the third can involve outside help. Luo Feng nodded, understanding the disadvantage. Emperor Chu sighed. If this had been 100 epochs later, I'd have reached the primal chaos realm peak. Even with resource support, I'm still short. You must compete. If you miss this, who knows when the next chance will come, Luo Feng said. One of the 3 subtasks is to contend for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, Emperor Chu went on. For that one, I must ask for your help, Luo Feng. Only with your strength do I stand a chance. On the Origin continent, the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl only appeared in one place, the border region between the 2 great ancient kingdoms. Emperor Chu had been instrumental in Luo Feng gaining the chance to come to Chu capital as a guest cultivator and to become Di Chu's personal disciple. For that favor, Luo Feng was inclined to help. Don't worry, Luo Feng said. If you rely on me for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, I won't ask you for help in return later. If we secure enough resources from this heaven-level task, even tens of thousands of epochs of slacking would be manageable, Emperor Chu replied. Remember, after the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl manifests, it must be returned to Chu capital within 10 days. After 10 days, it will become a Blood Spirit Poisonous Pearl and won't count toward the task's merit. Luo Feng nodded. There are 7 first-rank Marquises in my Emperor Chu line, Emperor Chu added. Although I'm the weakest, I've long reached the Chaos Realm peak. My 2 individual tasks test comprehension and temperament, so I might not be at the very bottom. Regarding the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl, I estimate only a few among the 7 will be able to call on Chaos Realm Transcendence for help. I reckon I can place 3rd or 4th. The difference between 1st and 7th place in allocation was enormous. A middle-tier ranking would be satisfying. Luo Feng said, "Leave the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl to me." Emperor Chu immediately sent the detailed information for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl task. Luo Feng checked it. They were currently in the task preparation period. The heaven-level task would officially begin in 1,000 days and last for 1 epoch. At the end of that epoch, overall rankings would be calculated. Chapter 136, 2 Realms Palace Night hung hazily over Chu capital. In a small courtyard, Marquis Chu Chang was drinking alone when an invisible wave rolled over him. He felt the world tilt, and before he could react, he was pulled into an illusory space. Marquis Chu Chang, a figure condensed from mist, and smiled at him. "I've waited for you here in the courtyard for some time." Chu Chang looked around. "You dragged me into an illusion? The 2 Realms Palace, so notorious across the Origin continent, only dares to meet me in an illusion?" The misty figure bowed slightly. "This is my own Chu capital, personally refined by Yan Feng ancient ancestor. Even we of the 2 Realms Palace must be cautious. Please forgive us, Marquis Chu Chang." Chu Chang examined the apparition. The 2 Realms Palace was one of the great clandestine powers of the Origin continent. Its inner ranks were a mystery. Rumor said the weakest among them were at least God King's 2nd realm, and some even claimed discipleship to Yuan. Compared with the great ancients like Yan Feng and Thunder Ancestor, Yuan's name carried a kind of reverence. He had left behind transcendental inheritances that few could touch. Members of the 2 Realms Palace were not to be underestimated. "I'm only an ordinary member," the misty figure said, smiling. "But helping you secure a top-tier rank in this heaven-level task is nothing for me. You want to help me?" Chu Chang raised an eyebrow. If the speaker was a formal member, he was likely a God King's 2nd realm, an existence that could crush courtiers with a thought. Even so, as a first-rank marquis of the imperial family, Chu Chang had pride. "The 7 first-rank marquises of our line are no strangers to each other. Without truly powerful backing, you won't get me into the top 3. The misty figure nodded. "Among the 7, Marquis Chu Ying's comprehension and potential are unsurpassed. Chu Feng and Chu Ji will likely rank above you. I can make sure you break into the top 3. In return, I ask for half of the resources you obtain." "Half?" Chu Chang barked a short laugh. "Those are the imperial family's resources, my Yan Feng ancient kingdom's assets. You of the Two Realms Palace are bold indeed. Everything is voluntary. I won't force you, the misty figure said. If you refuse, I will leave and trouble you no more. Chu Chang scowled. Among the seven, he was the least outstanding. Only recently had Marquis Chu Yu been promoted, and he had the backing of a chaotic realm transcendent, Luo He Great Saint. Still, Chu Chang's ambitions were real. If he could secure the most resources in this heaven-level task, he might transform. A breakthrough to God King would change his position entirely. If you help me, and I take first place, I'll give you half, Chu Chang said, eyes steely. If I take second, you get 20%. Third, 10%. If I don't place in the top 3, your help was worthless and you forfeit any claim. The misty figure shook his head. Even with my full aid, it will be hard, Chu Chang pressed. If you get me first, I give half. Second, 20%. Third, 10. If lower, you get nothing. No, the misty figure countered. My terms, first half, second 30%, third 20%. Worse than third, and I will forgo any share. Those are my final terms. Chu Chang considered, then broke into a thin smile. Agreed. The mist condensed into a nod. Then cause and effect are sealed. Marquis Chu Chang, do not think to renege. Karmic backlash is a price you cannot bear. With that warning, the figure vanished. The illusory world dissolved. Chu Chang found himself back at the table in his courtyard. He frowned at the last phrase. Karmic backlash? He was only a primal chaos realm peak, and he had no intention of breaking a bargain with a member of the Two Realms Palace. Still, if he obtained the most resources in this heaven-level task, transformation to God King might be within reach. The rewards of a God King in the imperial family were a different order of magnitude. Across the capital, Marquis Chu Ying stared out into the night. He tapped a communication token. Junior brother Chu Ying, a clear, cool voice answered. Senior sister Bi Yun. Chu Ying was deferential. Bi Yun Great Sage was a direct disciple of Di Qing being the strongest among the 13 monarchs of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom and a master at instructing disciples. Bi Yun herself was regarded as outstanding among the chaotic realm transcendents, with profound techniques and powerful treasures bestowed by Di Qing. The 7 first-rank marquises of our line must compete, Chu Ying explained. We need help collecting blood spirit golden pearls. Senior sister, will you assist? Bi Yun's voice carried weight. When I visited Master, he said among your line, your talent is the greatest, Chu Ying. The Emperor Chu lineage should place their best resources on you. Chu Ying's gratitude was sincere. Di Qing's words had lifted his status and won him preferential allocation of resources. The competition among the marquises is the ancient ancestors' rule. Senior sister, can you spare time for this blood spirit pearl task? Leave it to me, Bi Yun replied. I won't promise first place, but I won't hold you back. Thank you, senior sister. Chu Ying allowed himself a quiet sigh of relief. Di Qing's endorsement had made several god kings and chaotic realm transcendents willing to align with him. The blood spirit golden pearls grew at the borders between the 2 great ancient kingdoms, and skirmishes there were usually constrained to the chaos realm level. If a god king intervened, border conflicts could erupt into a full-scale war no one wanted. For that reason, Bi Yun, a chaotic realm transcendent, was the right kind of ally. Across the origin continent, there were only 71 chaotic realm transcendents with varying strengths. Bi Yun ranked among the top. The day the heaven-level task was announced, all 7 first-rank marquises scrambled for advantage. Luo Feng had been strolling in his cave when an invisible wave reached for him, attempting to drag his consciousness into an illusion. Buzz. Thanks to the Li Yuan art stabilizing his soul and the protection of the Star Tower, the pull could not drag Luo Feng in. Able to resist the Two Realms Palace's pull, the hidden presence murmured, surprised. Wind gathered and condensed into a hazy figure before Luo Feng, isolating them from prying eyes. Luo He, Great Saint, have you ever heard of the Two Realms Palace? The wind form smiled. Luo Feng felt the tug, but with both the Li Yuan art and the Star Tower guarding him, he had no fear. He'd long studied the powers on the origin continent, both overt powers with territories and the shadowy covert forces whose memberships were unknown. The Two Realms Palace was one of the top covert powers. You seek me? Luo Feng asked. You are still only a chaotic realm transcendent. You don't yet understand how difficult the path above is. the wind figure said. Only when you reach God King will you see how each step forward is like crossing an abyss. Luo Feng listened. The gulf between God King First Realm and the peak was enormous, like the difference between mastering one of the 10 basic laws and mastering the chaos laws themselves. In terms of resources, the two great ancient kingdoms hoard their finest for their imperial families, the wind figure continued. Even if Di Chu favors you, he must give you only what he can spare. When you become a god king, the resources you need will be vital to him. Will he still be willing to hand them over? And as for guidance, the wind figure said, you should cultivate the life, destruction, and material origin great paths together. Di Chu can only teach you destruction. Who will teach you the other two? Our inner members can guide you in life and material origin better than Di Chu ever could. I can make you an outer member of the Two Realms Palace. The instruction you receive there will far surpass what you get now. What is this about? Luo Feng asked flatly. A test, the wind figure replied. This heaven-level task is a small trial. Continue to compete for the blood spirit golden pearls on behalf of Marquis Chu Yu. Give him a pearl or two. All the rest of the pearls will be turned over to me. If you pass, a sign of your willingness to join, you will gain from us. Luo Feng sneered. Marquis Chu Yu is my closest friend. You want me to betray a friend? He waved a hand. A force gusted and swept through the wind figure. The apparition disintegrated in surprise. You dare, it reformed, angry. This is Chu capital, my master's Chu capital. Do you think the two great ancient kingdoms will let you offend us here? You don't understand what you are rejecting. When you become a god king, you will regret this. Then the wind figure vanished. Luo Feng smiled coldly at the empty air. Cowardly tricks, he thought. Even if his world beast Morosa reached its peak, was there anyone in the Two Realms Palace who could provoke a peak world beast? They hid in the shadows and made demands. No spine. Morosa, Luo Feng sent a mental call. Master. Morosa rushed in from one of the Star Tower's inner spaces and stared at the enormous corpse of a golden scale armor insect. Its inner world thrummed with desire and a summons he could not ignore. Is this for me? Morosa asked, voice trembling. I feel it could help me more than any Chaos Realm corpse so far. Luo Feng smiled. These are materials for my cultivation. Morosa's features fell in disappointment. He couldn't truly snatch what belonged to his master. Luo Feng continued. I've taken 1% of the materials from this golden scale armor insect for myself. That will be enough for my cultivation. The rest of the corpse is yours. Morosa's eyes lit up. This is no ordinary corpse. It may be stronger than a typical God King corpse. I won't disappoint you, master. Luo Feng regarded him. The golden scale armor insect had once fought a God King across realms with its physical body. Its materials were indeed exceptional. Thank you, master, Morosa breathed, overwhelmed. He sensed that this corpse could bring about a complete transformation. Morosa had entered seclusion, diligently digesting the body of the golden scale armor insect, while Luo Feng remained focused on the transformation law. Two tiny particles hovered before him, crackling faintly. Luo Feng swept a blade-like edge of intent across his palm. One particle split open to reveal two yin-yang fused cores. The other burst into three smaller, rotating masses that chased one another like planets. They're all particles that contain inner worlds, Luo Feng muttered to himself. Each large particle is like a miniature world, the beginning of a primordial origin. He noticed a pattern between the two forms, the 3-in-1 structure that perfect Chaos Layer creatures used, where evolution inside the particle world was relatively simple, and the 10 directions world form of the golden scale armor insect's corpse, where evolution in the particle world ran deeper and the power underwent qualitative shifts. The processes inside a single particle were like the gestation and evolution of an entire world. As he probed, the mysteries of the life spirituality and life body branches collided in his understanding, both reaching toward the primal chaos realm peak. Time flowed on. At the appointed moment, Luo Feng naturally ceased his cultivation. He had set a departure time in advance. Even in seclusion, he always emerged punctually. On this important day, Marquis Chu Yu personally came to see him off. Luo Feng, the Marquis said with a wry smile, for this heaven-level task, all first-rank marquises will give it their all. In raw strength, I'm the weakest among them. I'm afraid my rankings in the two personal subtasks will be low. He looked at Luo Feng. So don't feel overburdened on my account. You should still prepare well for your own individual tasks, Luo Feng replied. Leave the blood spirit golden pearl portion to me. Marquise Chu Yu nodded. If the heaven-level task had come several hundred epochs later, when he might have reached the primal chaos realm peak, he would have had more confidence in the personal tasks. But reality did not bend to wishes. The Blood Spirit Golden Pearl contest is on the border between the two great ancient kingdoms. Be careful, the Marquise warned. Don't forget, I cultivate the physical body. I may be only average at seizing those pearls, but my life-preserving abilities are unquestionable. Luo Feng admitted the truth. His combat-oriented system was at a disadvantage when competing for Blood Spirit Golden Pearls. Both life spirituality and life body paths excelled at survival. Competing with cultivators of karma, space, and world paths won't be easy, Marquise Chu Yu said with a smile. We'll do our best. He bowed slightly. I'll be off. If I collect any pearls, I'll send them back immediately. Before Luo Feng left, he saw Ancestor Yuan and Qing Yan there to bid him farewell. He nodded to Ancestor Yuan and instructed Qing Yan, Luo Sa is in seclusion cultivating. You must put more effort into your own practice. Yes, Master, Qing Yan answered at once. Luo Feng nodded once more, then stepped and vanished into the void. Marquise Chu Yu, Ancestor Yuan, and Qing Yan exchanged solemn looks and departed as well. Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and Thunder Ancient Country occupied the most core, prosperous regions of the Origin continent. The land nurtured more heaven and earth treasures, and the population of cultivators and exotic beasts was far greater. The border between the two great ancient kingdoms lay at the very heart of the continent. Riches and resources clustered there, and the two kingdoms had an understanding. The bulk of resources would be left for Chaos Realms to contest, while only the rarest attractions would draw God King intervention. Luo Feng used the transformation law of concealment and slipped across space, arriving at the rendezvous in just over 3 hours. From a distance, he saw a colossal blood-red fireball hanging in the sky, a naturally formed blood spirit star. Its crimson light bathed land and river alike. This blood spirit star erupts 2 or 3 times every epoch, he thought. When it erupts, liquid-like flames pour out, and blood spirit golden pearls are spat forth. The task lasted an epoch. All pearls that erupted during that period had to be seized. Luo Feng set up a simple cave abode with a basic formation, enough to hide prying eyes, and stationed his divine power avatar in a small pavilion to monitor the blood spirit star. His true body had entered the star tower to continue cultivation. He estimated there would only be 2 or 3 eruption windows in the epoch. The rest of the time was for cultivation. He could already feel several powerful auras clotted around the star. Yuanshu Prefect merged with heaven and earth, watching silently. For him, helping Marquise Chu Yu contest the pearls was an opportunity to clash with other powerhouses. Personal rank mattered less than cultivation progress. A gray shadow hid in the void nearby, leaking no aura while it assessed the area. Based on my observation, there are at least 9 major auras near the star, the shadow reported. An invisible fluctuation replied, General Yan Su, I trust your ability to contend for these pearls. The competition will be fierce. I can't promise I'll get the most, but I can ensure I won't take fewer than 10. You two World Palace must remember your promise, the gray shadow urged. Don't worry, the 2 World Palace will be fair, came the calm reply. Good, the shadow said. Luo Feng will certainly make a move. At a critical moment, you should act to disrupt him. He's the Emperor's personal disciple. You are a transcendent of the chaotic realm, the invisible voice interrupted lightly. No one will bother your standing. In a normal clash, who would dare to pick a fight with you? The voice offered a further incentive. As long as you truly disrupt him, we'll add 30% to your reward. On the other side, some billowing clouds in the sky had somehow gained consciousness. Junior brother Chu Ying asked me to act. I won't take too many pearls, only half, the sentient clouds announced. The other half can be scrambled for by everyone else. If I take half, Junior brother Chu Ying will secure first in this task, and in the other 2 subtasks as well. The hidden powerhouses did not notice the sentient clouds. All of them, however, were tense and patient, waiting for the star to enter its eruption phase, when suddenly an earth-shattering commotion tore through the area. All the hidden auras turned to the disturbance. A giant hoofclaw rended the void. A colossal body tore through space and arrived. It was immense beyond reckoning. Lower limbs ending in 4 enormous hoofclaws, a hulking torso with a pair of thick, powerful arms, black chains coiled across its back, and countless short spears bristling like scales. It stood so tall its breath caused storms. Its eyes burned like distant stars. Ha! The being laughed, a roar that cracked mountains and shattered great trees. Its gaze cut through concealments, sweeping every hiding place. People of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, your Chu lineage uses collecting blood spirit golden pearls as a subtask for a heaven-level task? You didn't even ask if Thunder Ancient Country agreed. He spread his hands. This time, the pearls will largely belong to me, but I'm willing to sell them to the highest bidder. Ha! At the sight of him, the watching powerhouses felt a heavy pressure. It's the Huang Feng City Lord from Thunder Ancient Country, someone muttered. This is a Yanfeng task. Why is Huang Feng City Lord interfering? Others whispered. Yuanshu Prefect and the rest felt the weight of the presence. Luo Feng looked up at the towering figure and frowned. He recognized the threat immediately. In Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, cultivation of the Hunyuan bloodline system at the Chaos Realm level was strictly forbidden. Even god kings were subject to numerous thresholds and strict scrutiny before they were allowed to touch Hunyuan techniques. The Hunyuan bloodline carried immense power and an element of chaotic will. Cultivating it at the Chaos Realm level often led to loss of control. The royal family of Thunder Ancient Country, however, permitted Hunyuan bloodline cultivation even at the Chaos Realm level. Many of their cultivators went mad and lost themselves, but those who remained lucid be terrifyingly strong. Luo Feng reflected on what he had learned across the origin continent. Top-tier cultivation systems tended to fall into 2 broad categories. One was cultivation that utilized Hunyuan bloodline, rare Hunyuan materials, and Hunyuan power. It offered overwhelming strength, but came with high cost and extreme danger. The other was pure Dao cultivation, systematized techniques, tribulations, and secret slashes that required comprehension of the Dao and fewer resources, safer, but generally weaker. Hunyuan cultivation is the most dangerous, he thought, watching the Huangfeng City Lord. Once mastered, though, every chaotic realm transcendent who uses the Hunyuan bloodline gains incomparably greater power. He remembered Lord Chuyuan. Even partially cultivating the Hunyuan path made him impossible to kill when Luo Feng once liquefied him. A fully realized Hunyuan cultivator would be unfathomably powerful. Chapter 138, Blood Spirit Golden Bead Eruption. The blood spirit star hung high, its crimson flames lighting up the surroundings. The Lord of Huangfeng City lay on all fours beneath it, calm and at ease. The powerful figures hidden in the dark waited patiently. Days passed. Luo Feng kept his calm as well, wholeheartedly cultivating and comprehending. Then, one day, the blood spirit star seemed to boil. Its flames surged. Luo Feng's divine avatar, seated cross-legged, sensed the change from afar. As soon as he realized the star was entering an eruption period, his true body emerged from the star tower. First, it will spew liquid flames. Then, as the momentum builds, blood spirit golden pearls will be ejected, he thought, already familiar with the details. He put away his cave dwelling and raced toward the blood spirit star. The other hidden experts converged from all directions. Beneath the star, the Lord of Huangfeng City rose. Excitement lit his eyes. Centering on him, wind howled outward, sweeping the area and carving a vast depth into the void, hundreds of billions of kilometers. The Huangfeng domain had been formed. Above, below, in every direction, this is his Huangfeng domain, murmured the observers. With his Hunyuan bloodline, he's made the wind into a domain. Even an ordinary chaotic realm expert would be wiped out within it. Under this domain, it'll be very hard to snatch even a single blood spirit golden pearl. The blood spirit star grew increasingly unstable. Liquid flames splashed and exploded. Suddenly, among a wisp of liquid flame, a crimson pearl appeared. The hidden experts, some of whom were only at the peak of the primal chaos realm, instantly locked onto it. Mine, cried the Lord of Huangfeng City. His Huangfeng domain reached and enveloped the crimson pearl. From a distance, Yuanshu Prefect unleashed his dark mansion prison, trying to draw the pearl into his domain. But the Huangfeng domain had congealed into one massive force, completely enveloping the pearl. To take it, Yuanshu would have to contend with the entire Huangfeng domain. The dark mansion prison collided with the Huangfeng domain and was clearly outmatched. Yuanshu frowned. Any chaotic realm transcendent who cultivated the Hunyuan bloodline was fearsome. He felt like he was attempting to confine a colossal beast with his prison. It wouldn't yield. Suddenly, a sharp gleam swept over the Crimson Pearl, and a piece of space was cut out. The Crimson Pearl vanished along with that small pocket of space. The Lord of Huangfeng City's expression changed. His Huangfeng domain hadn't even been able to stop the cut. A voice rang out, clear and cold. "I'll take half of today's blood spirit golden pearls. You can fight for the rest." The gray shadow preparing to act froze. Biyun Great Sage? Even within the Huangfeng domain, Luo Feng couldn't teleport. He had to fly closer. He felt the pressure. Both Biyun Great Sage and the Lord of Huangfeng City were among the top chaotic realm transcendents. Biyun cultivated the world origin Great Path and could even carve out space with a single sword. Her methods for snatching pearls were more effective than the Huangfeng domain itself. Luo Feng grimly acknowledged that his speed and teleportation methods were at a disadvantage. The blood spirit star roared. This time, liquid flames burst forth carrying 3 blood spirit golden pearls. At once, every chaotic realm transcendent present made their move. Yuanju Prefect pushed his dark mansion prison to its limits and managed to seize one pearl, but that pearl was tightly wrapped by the Huangfeng domain and resisted by an invisible spatial force. A sharp gleam cut another sliver of space cleanly, carrying a pearl away. A gray shadow teleported straight through the Huangfeng domain, appeared next to a pearl, snatched it, and vanished. The remaining pearl was swept into the mouth of the Lord of Huangfeng City. Luo Feng was still rushing forward when the pearls disappeared. He cursed inwardly. His speed was too slow. The Huangfeng domain and Biyun's control over space suppressed the surroundings. Luo Feng could not traverse space with his Silver River transformation method alone. The gray shadow who had teleported and stolen a pearl revealed his identity to Luo Feng, Yansu Great Sage. Yansu cultivated the space origin Great Path to an extraordinary level. Even under severe suppression, he could still teleport at will and had mastered clone techniques. Relying on those methods alone, Yansu was a very difficult opponent to face. Luo Feng scowled. They have domains, they control space, or they are experts in teleportation. I only have my physical body. He made a decision. If he could not outmaneuver them, he would force his way through. He sprinted. As he ran, his body swelled at an impossible rate, trillions of kilometers, then tens of trillions, so fast that he reached the edge of the starry sky. A boundless, colossal form appeared, vast as heaven and earth. The blood spirit star looked tiny in front of him. Black liquid poured from his robes and instantly flowed over the star, enveloping it in layer upon layer. The star lay against his chest, completely wrapped in the black sheen. This is the only way, Luo Feng thought. The Lord of Huangfeng City sneered when he saw Luo Feng's grand shape. Being large doesn't mean you can fight. He barked and sent the howl of the Huangfeng domain toward him. The wind that could reduce a Chaos Realm expert to ashes brushed against Luo Feng, but felt gentle to him. Luo Feng looked down at the Lord of Huangfeng City as a tiny speck. "Everyone's methods are clever," he said aloud. "I cultivate the body. My methods are crude, but effective." Instantly, the Lord of Huangfeng City grew to 10 trillion kilometers tall. If he grew larger, his strength would wane. At this size, he combined colossal physical power with the wild wind. His hooves trampled the void as he charged at terrifying speed. Despite being smaller than Luo Feng, his physical body, shaped and strengthened by the Hunyuan bloodline, was formidable enough to contend with god kings in cross-realm combat. Yuanshu Prefect, Biyun Great Sage, and Yansu watched from the sidelines. None of them wished to meet such a head-on clash. Luo Feng did not dodge. He stood his ground and let the Lord of Huangfeng City crash into his chest. With 5 transformation methods converging in one body, Luo Feng was most confident in his physical strength. He wanted to test the Hunyuan bloodline's power in close combat. The impact was like heaven collapsing. A majestic force tore through space, annihilating layers of the void. The blow struck Luo Feng with terrifying power. Hundreds of billions of transformation method units dissipated the force, forcing him to stumble backward 2 steps before regaining his balance. Each retreat gouged pits tens of trillions of kilometers deep into the ground. The Lord of Huangfeng City felt the recoil as well. He was pushed back 5 steps, the force of the counterblow roaring through his body. The collision's aftermath swept outward, leveling mountains and tearing up the landscape. The few Primal Chaos Realm Peak experts hiding nearby watched in terror. If those chaotic realm transcendents fight directly, we could easily be caught in the crossfire, one whispered. Even a glancing blow from such power could annihilate them. Both combatants stood panting, astonished at each other's strength. The Lord of Huangfeng City could not believe he hadn't gained a definitive advantage despite his Hunyuan bloodline. Among chaotic realm transcendents, those who cultivated the physical body, especially with Hunyuan aid, were supposed to be unmatched. Luo Feng, for his part, was equally surprised. His Silver River transformation method had already reached chaotic realm transcendent level. The yin-yang particles of the method had grown in life spirituality over the 20-plus eras he had spent in Chu capital, nearly doubling his physical strength. He had assumed his hundreds of billions of transformation units would make him superior to an ordinary god king. Yet here he was, roughly equal to a Hunyuan-blooded chaotic realm transcendent. Luo Feng realized afresh, the Hunyuan-blooded chaotic realm transcendents were indeed terrifying. Their physical bodies were not inferior to his, but now he knew his own physical strength was no longer something to be underestimated. Chapter 39. The end of the first wave of competition. Melee isn't only about brute strength. Huangfeng Prefect boomed, suddenly producing 2 short spears from behind him. His massive form, towering, spanning hundreds of billions of kilometers, merged with his aura and surged toward Luo Feng. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Wind howled as Huangfeng's figure flashed around Luo Feng, spear after spear lancing in on him. Luo Feng stood motionless, watching with cold eyes. As the spears pierced toward his body, the black liquid tried to bind them. The spears, however, were incomparably sturdy. The black liquid found it difficult to hold them. Not even a blood drop appears? Huangfeng Prefect muttered, astonished. What kind of body-refining method does he cultivate? A blood shadow blade materialized in Luo Feng's hand. Its power had grown immensely, heavy, razor-sharp, already showing the makings of a God-King ultimate realm weapon. Luo Feng unleashed a strike. Huangfeng met it with his twin spears. Boom! The collision hurled shockwaves across hundreds of millions of kilometers. Their movements carried world-shattering force. Their very footsteps could level a city. Even the Primal Chaos Realm peaks watching from afar trembled. The gap between chaotic realm transcendence and those distant peaks was terrifyingly vast. The peaks could devastate a city, but against beings like these, their power seemed insignificant. Luo Feng and Huangfeng checked their attacks. Neither could truly harm the other. Luo He, your raw strength is no weaker than mine, Huangfeng's voice rolled like thunder. But a true rival has arrived in this contest for the Blood Spirit Golden Pearls. Luo Feng understood immediately. Bi Yun Great Sage, one of the top chaotic realm transcendents, had appeared. A cold voice cut through the flames of Blood Spirit Star. A gray figure ignored the black liquid's attempts to bind her and simply appeared inside the star, standing calm amid rising fire. Luo He, you cannot seal Blood Spirit Star, Bi Yun Great Sage announced, and Luo Feng's black liquid collapsed as if cleaved in two. The Silver River transformation method alone could not hold her. Bi Yun's initial clash with Luo Feng revealed a terrifying sharpness. Her form looked ordinary compared with Huangfeng and Luo Feng, yet her destructive power was even more devastating. Bi Yun Great Sage is formidable, the gray figure on the star observed with a smile. That gray shadow was Yansu Great Sage, an expert of the spatial origin Great Path, famed for snatching Blood Spirit Golden Pearls and for employing clone techniques. Yuanshu Prefect lingered at a distance, thinking to hide and snatch any scraps that fell. Among those present, he was the most adept at traps and imprisonment. He wasn't willing to risk all-out combat. If he could grab even a few pearls with careful maneuvers, he would be satisfied. Blood Spirit Star itself was a natural formation, a solid core, a liquid middle, and an outer layer of blood-colored flame. The Yanfeng ancient kingdom's god kings had placed protective formations in its core to better draw on heaven and earth energy and nurture more blood spirit golden pearls. Treasure lands across the origin continent were similarly protected by god king formations. Rare resources were cultivated, not destroyed. Both great ancient kingdoms forbade deliberate destruction of a treasure land. The punishments would be severe. A common treasure land might yield modest rewards each era, but across tens of thousands of eras, their cumulative value was staggering. Luo Feng resolved to seize as many pearls as he could. He unleashed the Silver River Transformation Method, a vast, flowing silver river that gathered and dispersed relentlessly. Any pearl erupting into the river would be bound by it and kept from others. Huang Feng responded by imposing his Huang Feng domain to suppress it, but Luo Feng's river surged in counterforce, overpowering Huang Feng's domain in an initial collision. The Silver River's speed and reach made it ideal for long-range snatching. Huang Feng's face shifted. The gray shadow on the star smiled. Don't take it personally, Yansu said, but your domain-type technique is a bit too powerful. I can only restrain it a little. At once, the Silver River's flow dulled. Luo Feng felt spatial constraints like a heavy hand needing his technique. Its movement dropped to roughly a tenth of its normal speed. Then 10 pearls burst up from the molten flames. Luo Feng carved off 2 small regions of space at lightning speed and drew 3 pearls into his river. Then the space locked and the method slowed. In that frozen moment, Huang Feng's wind howled and he swept up 7 pearls. Yansu teleported and seized 1. Yuanshu Prefect used his Dark Mansion prison to snap up 1 as well. Luo Feng managed to secure only 2 in that particular surge. Damn, Luo Feng snarled. Yansu had been targeting his domain specifically, restricting its movement to blunt his advantage. Luo Feng transmitted a voice to him, offering a ceasefire of sorts. If Yansu stopped interfering now, after this eruption, Luo Feng would give him 3 pearls. Yansu only smiled. He had focused his spatial imprisonment on Luo Feng, and while it could have simultaneously hindered Huang Feng, Yansu chose to concentrate his efforts on containing Luo Feng's Silver River. The eruption went on for 3 days. Biyun Great Sage, who had kept to the shadows and struck with terrifying precision, ultimately intercepted the most, 25 blood spirit golden pearls. Huang Feng, exploiting his pervasive domain, took 12. Under Yansu's continual spatial pressure, Luo Feng ended the wave with 9. Yansu himself had 1. Yuanshu Prefect, grabbing scraps from a distance, wound up with 3. Among the distant observers, debate arose. Many wondered why Yansu had concentrated on Luo Feng, and whether that choice had cost Huang Feng a few pearls as well. Some noted that Yansu's clone technique made him far more troublesome than an ordinary chaotic realm transcendent. Even a god king with clones was rare. After watching the first wave, the primal chaos realm peaks around them lost their appetite for the contest and began to withdraw. The few who remained chatted and left, amusement replaced by resignation. Huang Feng Prefect stood beneath Blood Spirit Star, surveying the scene like a mountain. I obtained 12 Blood Spirit Golden Pearls, he declared, voice booming. I'm willing to sell them. Minimum price, 100 billion cosmic sand per pearl. Highest bidder wins. The announcement rippled through the gathered cultivators. Luo Feng, Biyun Great Sage, Yuanshu Prefect, Yansu, and the departing peaks all heard. Even Biyun Great Sage, the wealthiest among them, felt the price was outrageous. Huang Feng, the town defender, watched the figures in the distance, waiting patiently. A blood spirit golden pearl for 10 billion cosmic sand? No one will agree to that. Yuanshu Prefect said with a smile. 1 billion cosmic sand per piece? I'd buy a few. A peak primal chaos realm expert called from afar. Huang Feng's expression fell. Could the price be too high to sell? Luo Feng felt awkward. The blood spirit golden pearl task was being contested because 7 first-rank marquises of the Emperor Chu lineage were competing for them. First-rank marquises had many expenses. Having tens of billions of cosmic sand ready was already impressive. Even if they emptied their coffers, each could only buy 3 to 5 pearls. Biyun Great Sage had obtained 25 in the first wave. Buying 3 to 5 pieces wouldn't make a decisive difference. Chaotic Realm Transcendence had far more accumulated treasures than the Marquises, but this was a task for the Marquises. The Transcendents wouldn't squander their own wealth. Luo Feng, Biyun Great Sage, and Yuanshu Prefect were only helping because of friendship, not for gain. Seeing no bidders, Huang Feng finally lowered the price. 8 billion cosmic sand per piece, he announced. Still nobody bid. The price is still too high, Huang Feng said after a long pause, trying once more. 6 billion cosmic sand per piece. This is the lowest. He forced a smile and waited. Then his expression relaxed. It seems some still recognize the value. All the Blood Spirit golden pearls have been traded this time. If you want more, wait for the next round. With that, Huang Feng dispersed himself into a gust of wind and vanished. Everyone present was stunned. Sold? To which first-rank Marcus? Maybe they faked a sale. Someone reasoned that the pearls had to be delivered to Chu Capital within 10 days, or they would turn into Blood Spirit poison pearls, so there was no point in faking a sale. The Chaotic Realm Transcendence and the Peak Primal Chaos experts each came to their own conclusions as they began to disperse. Luo Feng glanced at Yansu Great Sage in the distance. Yansu returned the look with a single, inscrutable glance and a half-smile. Luo Feng thought Yansu's actions were targeted, but so what? On Origin Continent, most ancient powerhouses followed rules. They avoided making enemies because they had attachments and didn't act recklessly unless great path opportunities were at stake. Some, however, had no clans or disciples and behaved arbitrarily. Yansu was one of the reckless ones, arbitrary, sinister, ruthless, not prone to mass slaughter himself. In notoriety, he didn't match Snow Realm Ancestor or the Lord of Shi Country who had destroyed divine kingdoms, but his methods were extreme in their own way. Luo Feng hurried back to Chu Capital. With the Blood Spirit Star's outbreak just starting, it would be a long time before the next wave. In an era, there were only 3 such waves. He arrived at Marquis Chuyu's residence. Luohe? Marquis Chuyu's divine avatar greeted him. My true body is on a mission. Luo Feng produced the 9 Blood Spirit golden pearls he had taken during the first outbreak. The heaven-level task has 3 subtasks. The Blood Spirit golden pearl, 1 is only one of them. Your subtask is even more important. The Blood Spirit Star just had its first wave, and I obtained 9 pearls. Marquis Chuyu had already received detailed intelligence. Several Chaotic Realm Transcendents had clashed and peak experts had watched, so news reached the Yanfeng Guild quickly. I heard Yuanshu Prefect only got 3, Chuyu said. Yansu Great Sage was strange. He singled me out, Luo Feng said. Marquis Chuyu, does he bear a grudge against you? No. Chuyu shook his head. I was only recently promoted to first-rank Marquis. Before that, I was an eternal true god. How could I have offended a Chaotic Realm Transcendent like Yansu? You and he. Luo Feng trailed off, then nodded. Good that there's no enmity. He's after me then. Luo He, do your best in the Blood Spirit Golden Pearl contention, but don't force it. I will, Chuyu replied with a smile. He was the youngest of the 7 first-rank Marquises and newly promoted. He didn't want to take unnecessary risks. Luo Feng glanced at him. For your own subtask, you must fight hard. Of course, Chuyu affirmed. Luo Feng left. Since he'd taken the pearl task, he would devote himself to it. Chuyu watched him go and felt fortunate to have invited Luo He to be his guest elder. Luo He valued friendship deeply. Luo Feng left Chuyu's residence and bought an intelligence dossier on Yansu Great Sage through the Yanfeng Guild's Dark Hall. He studied it as he headed back. He didn't believe in unprovoked hostility. Chaotic Realm Transcendence didn't make enemies lightly. The dossier said Yansu's avatar technique let him possess 1 complete avatar and 7 weaker ones. The complete avatar, with its own divine body and soul, could operate at peak condition. Luo Feng compared that to his own avatar technique from the 8 Tribulation lifeform. His technique split a portion of his divine power into avatars, hundreds if he wanted, and those avatars could exist independently. But every avatar was only part of the whole. All the avatars combined equaled the original power, and each split weakened the main body. Yansu's method, by contrast, created additional complete avatars beyond the original true body, effectively doubling divine power and producing additional souls. On top of that, there were 7 weaker avatars. Luo Feng sighed inwardly, but felt some comfort in knowing that under the supreme rule, 9 origin great paths couldn't cultivate avatar techniques. Only time and space origin great paths could rival life origin in avatar capabilities. Time could spawn avatars across past, present, and future. Space could break through some cage restrictions and produce multiple complete avatars. Yan Su, with 2 complete avatars and several weak ones, was formidable. One avatar might be stationed at Xiangji City, another was here for the Pearl contention. The more Luo Feng learned about Yan Su, the more he felt outmatched. Yan Su had servants and disciples, but cared only for cultivation. His disciples had died multiple times. Everything else was irrelevant to him. Huangfeng Town Defender had retired to a secluded dark grove, unhappy. "Not a single pearl sold," he muttered. "I was willing to buy them all at 3 billion cosmic sand per piece." A figure formed of invisible heaven and earth power answered with a smile. Huangfeng nodded and, with a wave, produced 12 blood spirit golden pearls. "Here, take them." "Old rule," the illusory voice said. "During the pearl task period, however many you have, I'll buy them all at 3 billion cosmic sand per piece." Huangfeng had been invited to participate by this ancient power. He had permission to sell pearls outwardly, but they had to be sold at double the buyer's price. Huangfeng had pushed for a minimum of 6 billion. As the ancient figure had predicted, no one else would buy at that price. "The imperial family of Yanfeng and the distant marquises are too stingy," Huangfeng grumbled as the illusory buyer vanished. He teleported away. Luo Feng returned to his cave near the blood spirit star. His divine avatar remained in a pavilion, meditating and sensing the star's movements, while his true body cultivated in the star tower's inner space. He studied the 3-in-1 form and the particle disintegration of the square world form, trying to discern the laws they revealed. Though his accumulation in the life spirit and life body lineages had reached peak primal chaos realm, and he had reference materials, golden scale armor insect components, and perfect chaos layer creature samples, there were still confusions. To break through to God King would require more than raw accumulation. "The Pearl contention revealed many of my weaknesses," he admitted. In raw strength, Huangfeng was comparable to him, and Biyun Great Sage clearly outmatched him in technique. Biyun could move without revealing his true body. With his current level, Luo Feng hadn't managed to obtain many pearls in the first wave. He opened a stone box and took out 9 pale red fruits, Hunyuan crystal spirit fruits. He had intended to consume 5 when at the Chaos realm level, but now things were critical. He would use good steel on the cutting edge. Luo Feng took 1 Hunyuan fruit, closed the box, and began to eat. The fruit was tough. He chewed slowly, feeling the pulp dissolve in his abdomen. Energy spread through him, seeping into his soul. His soul became lighter, his thought processes quickening.